Hello, my friends. What was it? What was it she said? What was it she said, that lady? Hello, friends. How you been? I can show you incredible things. Bitcoin chart, my big heart. Welcome to Rocky Outcrop stream. That's the song for today. Hope you're all doing very, very well. This is the Bitcoin chart, but we're doing some Bitcoin technical analysis here today. Hi, Randy. Good to have you. This is, of course, a live stream for anybody watching along, and we'll be doing all the TA that we need to do. We'll figure out where the prices have been, where they're going, what the risks factors are, all that good stuff in like no time at all. Hey, Randy, could you hit that? Could you hit the like button for me, Randy, please? One viewer, one like. You know the old phrase. Yeah, so all right, great, let's just crack on then. Thanks very much for joining me, everybody who joins me and all that good stuff. Of course, they'll not get to see me saying that. I thought I would try and keep things nice and simple today so that the stream can be watched by people after the fact a little bit more enjoyably. So how about I find where I've actually hidden my chart at? Just here, by the way. So I've changed the camera setup and stuff today. I've changed the whole layout. I think this will make things a lot easier for people to understand what's going on because I can point with my hands, be more physical. Let's get physical, physical. Oh, physical. What was I looking at there, by the way? You might be wondering. That was the Tezos Bitcoin chart. Tezos Bitcoin charting here, looking at the 236. This is a big deal. Prices for Tezos being up at the 14,000 Satoshi level and stuff like that. Very, very big deal. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you hitting the like button. That was a very big deal. That. Let's bring up the Bitcoin chart though. What everybody wants to see. What everybody wants to see. Hey, what everybody wants to see. Bitcoin charting up your bum. Right. Oops. Right. A bit better. By the way, I was told I needed to make my background a bit nicer. What do you think for that for a background? I actually think it's pretty good. You know that? I think it's pretty good. I think that if at this point, if somebody doesn't subscribe to this channel because I don't have a green screen and instead I'm using some fake sunflowers in a fancy pants vase on my parquet floor, and if that's not good enough for people to want to subscribe, then those people can just F off. Right, hi friends. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin charts together. Take a look at the Bitcoin charts. Here we have the potential move here that we've been looking at. You can see just there that there's an orange serrated line, and that is the price at which we hope to see the prices get above, so that we can really kind of get into this move with a degree of enthusiasm. As you can see, the profit target's way up there, up towards the top side. As you can see, the actual level for taking profit comes in at around about this. Wrong screen. Comes in at around about this 75k area. In fact, let me just have to switch these two screens over since I'm looking this way so much more today. Right, that's better. That's much better, in fact. Okay, so we're looking at this orange line here and saying this is where we want to see the prices get above and stay above. We've got a red line just here, which we don't want to see the prices go down below. If the prices do go above this line, then we're hopefully going to be able to get in on a move that goes up towards 74,000. I'm actually looking to take profit probably around about 69,420 because I love the number and because that actually is another Fibonacci extension target that we've been looking towards recently. So So that's what we've got on the go. Now, have we been doing enough as yet? And really the current situation, that's the broader terms analysis for you. That's not the analysis, it's kind of the outcome of the analysis. I kind of skipped the analysis part and just told you the outcome of it, really. So, we're looking to see the prices get above 57k here, where this line is. Actually it's 58,000, really. 58,000. And then crack up the way. That would be ideal. Now, has it happened so far? No, it hasn't happened so far. There's going to be people out there in the world that point towards things like this and say, look at that's a shoulder, that's a head, that's a shoulder. I don't really buy into head and shoulders that are of that nature. I know that people like Peter Brandt out there in the world doesn't really care about so, and having a test of a previous all-time high. So that's nothing that special. Of course, there'd be profit taking coming in here at the previous all-time high, obviously. So that's the zone that we're looking to. So in the meantime, short-term analysis style, that's where we're trading at. So if you're looking at this and really sort of trading this, as some people do, in terms of small-term time frames, well, this is the area to be looking to. Clearly, profit taking is in around about that 57.77 sort of area. And it's this zone, and we can see that the prices, obviously, if they do stay within the green box, are being supported by the 200 simple on the small-term time frames here. On the larger term time frames, though, you can see that they're miles away from the 200 simple, literally miles and miles and miles away from it. And we're waiting to see if we get a positive resolution on these other moving averages. The 50 simples floating down the way, the small term EMAs, the 18 and the 36 here, are pointing up the way. They're snaking around each other. So it's chop at the minute. It's chop, and we'll get a break fairly soon overall. Do I expect this to break up the way? It's not a case of expectations, to be honest. It's not a case of expectations. We've been waiting. If we're going to get a big move towards the top side, the area to get in at around about is that 57k area, or that 58k area. Bzing. Ow. Ow. Wow, that hurt. If we do drop down a wee bit, then we don't want to go down below this 52k area. Bzing. Ow. Whoa, that hurt as well. So yeah, that'll do. Let's just see if there's any chat in here. Swisher V Baby wants to take a look at BitTorrent Token. Oh, good to have you here, Peter. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I saw your chat, but saw your message that you sent me earlier on. I was going to reply, and I was just a bit busy. Sorry, just a bit busy at the time. Just a bit busy, and I had to come and do this. Maybe we'll come back around and do a little summary for this one, but that's what we're looking for overall. So people want to see what BitTorrent Token's like, and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Wait, do I want to do a summary of this one right now? Yeah, I suppose I'll just get the summary of it sort of over and done with here. A couple of little things I will point out to people that won't really make it into the summary video because, all the small-minded monkey people out there watching it won't understand. We don't really have the strength of trend to say that we're there just yet. We've not come up here with momentum. That's what that means. We haven't come up here with momentum. Instead, what we're doing is we're relying on having to consolidate at an area of resistance. That's fine, that's fine to do that. But that's what we're doing. People who know what the difference between those things means will appreciate having that pointed out to them. People who don't know the difference between them won't really understand, and if I explain it to people, I'll get told after the fact that really, it's not what people want from their YouTube analysis. So what are you going to do? And that's where we are. What other things I want to point out? The neutral, the RSI above the neutral line here. That's okay. It's 24-hour time frame though. You're not seeing anything positive, and you go down towards the 4-hour time frame, looking to see if you can see something positive. And yeah, there's these glimmers of positivity. The cross that we just had, but the ADX isn't there because we've come up without any strength, like I said. So we've just had a cross, but that's as a result of this positive candle that we've just had. We could easily see it drop back down the way and uncross at this point because there's no momentum to carry us through there. RSI, same sort of story. This downward sloping area here, as we're seeing the overall highs, that's downward sloping. Now it's not divergent because they're not actually trending up the way. It's just pure sideways. But if you were like desperate to look for divergence and stuff like that, you could maybe try and make some sort of debate about it. I wouldn't really debate you back about it. I'd just say you're wrong. But I get the point that you're making. There's diminishing momentum towards the top side, and we're not getting that continuation. I would agree with you there. The stochastics have just crossed around here in the 4-hour time frame, great. You know, they didn't make it down as far as the neutral line. You know, we had this little sort of pick up here, a few positive candles, pop back down the way, you know, we were trending down before, pick up here. So we were trending down before, pick up here. And then, of course, you know, there's no indicators here telling you that it's super fantastic or anything like that. Now that we've looked at all this, and you might want to see then, I suppose, what the expensive market cipher indicator says about things. Where is it? I don't want a new one, sorry. Load chart layout. Where is it? Here. Ba-dum bum, ba-dum bum bum. Yeah, it's not telling you it's a buy really either right here, right now. 24-hour time frame, confused, signal, 4-hour time frame. Yeah, everything's ended with that movement up the way. Oh, that's GME. Whoops. Bam. Confused signal just there on that one. Yeah, exactly. People saying it's going down, people saying it's going up. They don't really know what they're talking about necessarily. Right, so here we have it. There was a buy signal back there, of course, dropped down the way. Little buy signal just here on this green candle, but that will totally turn around if we don't make it above 58. So it's exactly as we said. The summary is totally exactly it. You know, we're right here at this area. You know, that's great. We made it to this point. We could take a move from here, and that would be what it is. In fact, I'll just do the summary just now. That's all the TA that anybody could really possibly need or want on this one. Let me just see how people are doing. Nice to see you, Danny. Nice to see you, Swisher. Nice to see you, Peter. Nice to see you, Rihanna Khan. That's a cool name. Rihanna Khan. Sounds like an actor or something like that. Starring Rihanna Khan. Right. Yeah, 7 concurrent viewers. Excellent. Nice one. Not too bothered about the viewership or anything like that today. You know, I would like it if people hit the like button, but, you know, good things come to those. Like, I believe in the quality of the content here. You know, I believe on it. I know that it's really good. I know that that it doesn't matter to me really how many people watch any given individual live stream. I'm just here to help people. And if people want to be helped, then they want to be helped, you know. And over time, quality wins through. Really, generally speaking, quality wins through. So I just need to keep on going on and on and on. It's just that there's a price that you pay when you're overly enthusiastic and you don't get any sort of return off the back of it, right? There's a big price you pay, and I'm not really wanting to pay that price, you know, right, today. So I'm not going to be super enthusiastic about anything at the minute, but I'm also totally not bothered about the fact that there's just the 6 of us here. I think it's nice and all the rest of it. We'll take a look at Telcoin, we'll take a look at BitTorrent Token, and we'll try and get the overall stream done not too long a time. Okay, so we've had enough sort of preamble anyway. I wanted to give 15 minutes of time for people, you know, it's down to 5 concurrent viewers after I said that there, so you get the point. I wanted to give enough people enough time for anybody who, you know, who wanted to join in but got the notification and was away from their computer or whatever to get back to it, to get to watch the show, you know, because it wasn't scheduled so much. And my Bitcoin stream. Thanks so much for joining me. This, of course, is what we're looking at. We have 2 targets just here. This one just right here that we're at the minute. This target just here as well for the downside. Ow, they're both electrocuted, of course. And we have an overall move to be looking to in this region just here. If we do get the prices up above the 58k region then and confirming up above there, etc., then we could be looking up towards 75k. Really nice. You know, big profit taking targets obviously coming along the way. 64k, big one for a lot of people. Of course, the previous all-time high where that arrow points to for myself personally, 69,420. That was a Fibonacci extension point or thereabouts in the past anyway, so there's good reason for it. Could we be about to do that? Yes, we could. We're right on the very cusp of it. We could go up here. Crazy folk might look at that and say shoulder, head, shoulder, look towards this thing, talk about a potential measured move, and that would take us up towards our previous all-time highs at 64k. That would be nice, but this is not, of course, obviously not an inverse head and shoulders. Then when you're looking at this, you could be saying, well, this is the liquidity zone that we're right in. So we've made it to the top of that. We could easily pull back away from there. So, you know, managing our risk on any moves that we're looking at here at the 56,200 region or so for us on that one. There's a few little things that are worth pointing out with regards to stochastics, etc. You know, we have had this bounce just here, but are we going to see something similar to what we saw like back on the 3rd of April, where you just get a few positive candles followed by a retracement back down the way again? You know, we didn't actually go all the way down as far as the neutral line before we got that bounce, but we're looking okay. We're looking good for it. Everything's set up. This is a setup for this, you know. It's just that there's this risk that it might not work out, and that's what we're having to take on, and that's the current trade for us, you know. Here we have it as well with the RSI. We're up above the neutral line, up above our moving average. We have to acknowledge the obvious, very distinct, obvious downward sloping area that we have there, that we've not been able to achieve any prices higher than. While the prices did have a bit of the old bearish divergence in there, you know, just generally speaking, didn't get past that zone, and that is the general malaise in this area. A lot of the prices kicking about in here, and the VPVR, which is now not as visible given my labels on the left-hand side there, I suppose, showing us that this is where the prices have been. And of course, you know, the median, the mean here, the mean sort of reversion to the mean takes place in around this area. Well, anyway, that's what I'm looking for. 4-hour time frame does give us this little bit of positivity with the DMI having had a cross, but the ADX is still in chop territory. And on the 24-hour time frame, you can see that, of course, we're still very much in a negative sort of position on this one, and nothing looks very good at all. Not a single element of this looks particularly good at the minute, you know, here either. So there you have it. There's your move. Am I super excited about it right now? Well, no, because we're just shy of having been able to confirm that this is important. We're just a little bit low. That's what shy would mean there in that sense. Just a little bit lower. You know, we really need to be taking out that line there. Ow! Excellent. Ouch. Right. Likes appreciated. Really do appreciate it. See ya. Okay, sound. So what we're looking here is we've got Christoph with the shit. You know, cough. Coffee with, it's hard to read your name. Coffee with the shit. There we go. Maybe it's Kofi. First French shit coin. Oh, there's a French one. Is there? Ooh la la. Launched 4 days ago. Right. Every day, new all-time high. Just do your own research. Right, doesn't sound particularly interesting. Sorry, mate. I mean, it's of course interesting in the sense that it's new and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of like, not going well, something's up here. Something's up. Remotely later. Right. Not wrecking my stream anymore. We'll see how that goes. Oh, look at that. Just got a whole bunch of viewers all at once. For people who didn't notice, just did the Bitcoin technical analysis. It was decent. You go back, if you go back 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, you'll get all of that to see if you've just tuned in just now, by the way. Mais que sur votre font les amis? Okay, cool. Right, whatever. That's great and everything. Bitcoin will test the 20-week before putting in a new high, says Swisher V Baby. The 20-week. You know, when people say the 20-week, I know what they mean. The 20-week. They mean, what they mean is, Swisher, you know, that's YouTube technical analysis speak that you just said there, by the way. You know that's what that is. You might not know, but if you'd said that to somebody in a professional environment, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. But it's perfectly fine. You're talking YouTube technical analysis over there. What Swisher probably meant, right? What they probably meant was that Bitcoin will test the 20-week moving average there, the 20 period simple moving average on the weekly time frame. So weekly time frame and then the 20 period simple moving average, which is going to be in around about. Actually, the quickest way to get that up is just to bring the Bollinger Bands back on screen. You can see it's right at that 18 there, and that's down at 48k. And while I would agree with you, that's my analysis from 2 weeks ago, Swisher. That's my analysis from 2 weeks ago, okay, buddy? So while I'd like to be like fully on board with that as being like a wow, there's a prediction for you, I'd have to say that I gave you all that prediction a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it back then, so it's kind of old news to the channel, Swisher, as you are aware, because you were here then. By the way, buddy. However, you just said it'll test the 20-week EMA SMA. Yeah. So you just said EMA SMA. So you just said both, but you meant Swisher, right? I'll just tell you what you're talking about. You're talking about the simple period moving average, but it doesn't matter because they're both more or less in the same place at the minute. Maybe you're watching something like Benjamin Cohen or something like that recently, or whatever. Somebody else out there who watches that guy and then rephrases what he says for their own channel. I don't know. I don't watch anybody else on YouTube, so I've got no idea where you'd have got that from necessarily. Just suffice it to say that I already spoke about all this having happened, and we've more or less done that, and it's good enough. Now, if we do go down and test it again, then big whoop. All that really is just, you know, so I mean, it's great and everything, but when you're talking about like how the prices moved down 25% already to get to there, and that by the time that would happen, if we did drop down the way, just taking it from sort of the lows of the day down to where it would be at the time, you'd be talking about half that sort of a move. So yeah, cool, okay, all good. Well, it's going to test something. It's going to test something. That's it, Swisher, man. It's going to test something, that's for sure. Right, let's just crack on. Ethereum cracking up towards the top side, doing really, really well. At what point will the party stop? Who knows? It was worth getting back into moves up the way. Get off the weekly time frame. It was worth getting into moves back up the way. If we came up towards our 3-4 area, dropped back down to 3-220, that was a good rebuy area. Came up and down again, you know, over the period of the next wee while. Now you can see in the 24-hour time frame, there's this potential for us to see us rolling over just here. Of course, we could continue to go up the way. Of course, we absolutely could, but there's that potential for us just there on it. We managed to do a really good job of coming in here in the 24-hour time frame without divergences, because we managed to push up just that much that I was able to push on beyond it. It was incredible as it was. You know, we needed to see the prices, as we spoke about back then, at $2,800 really push on up the way to avoid having that divergence, and it managed to do it, you know. And it's like, that's the risk that you have when if you trade with that, you know, if you try to front run divergence, there's no point in doing that. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work. As you can see here, we've gone on up. So now at this point, am I looking for a retest? Well, yes, I am. Let me just quote Swisher v Baby here with this one, where we're looking at 29.49. Okay, that's what I'm expecting to see happen. You know, expecting being that very rough word. In fact, let me just make this into a sort of 1 minute clip. Oh, thanks very much, Randy. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate your work, Rocky. Can you take a look at VIT/USD and tell me it's going to moon?
Okay, buddy. I'll tell you it's going to moon in just a second. Right, great. Thank you, Randy. Really appreciate it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, by the way, hit like if you like my background. What I'm going to do here is 1 minute of Ethereum technical analysis, not even technical analysis, just talking to the camera. And then I'll move on to VET, where I'll do actual technical analysis for everybody. Hiya, friends. How you been? Here's Ethereum technical analysis for you. I hope you're doing very, very well. Looking at the charts here, very, very strong upward movements. Could we be seeing a bit of a pullback coming up for us? Well, I kind of feel like we might be seeing the charts just kind of rolling over just there. Look at that high that we had, of course, here. Could be just a bit to roll over. Could be. Now, I'm tempted at this stage to get rid of all of our drawings from the past because we don't really need them, but I'll get rid of a few of these things here just maybe, well, I don't know. What I'm looking for is to see if we come back down towards 29.49 really is kind of the question. Will we come back down towards where the 20-week moving average is going to be or not? Let me just pop on the Bollinger Band so you can see 20-week moving average here. The 20 simple period moving average is down there at 2,700, 2,750. So we could be going down towards that. I would like to see, actually, though, by the time that we came back down towards where we see the 18-period exponential moving average at the minute in at about 29.49 would be where the 20 simple period moving average would be by that stage anyway, more or less, and that would be the next good buy point. Now, we could be going up the way, of course. There's nothing to say that we won't just keep continuing. Really, I suppose the biggest thing about it is the DM crossing over the ADX line there. But essentially, everything's been going very, very well, really, you know, overall. It's just that in this last little area, we could be looking at it turning around. It could be, the weekly time frame tells that same story to you. We're massively high up the way here. And of course, we're coming towards the end of the week now. We can see that the Bollinger Bands themselves have got their external area up there towards the lower 3,000s. So in terms of the weekly time frame, it would probably be satisfied with a pullback down towards $3,099 or something like that, or $3,150, depending on how this kind of lines up next week. Actually, to be honest, it'll probably be 3,300 next when this opens up next week. That's maybe a bad point to be making there in terms of understanding this 3-day time frame, 2-day time frame. Yeah, nothing's really looking bearish on this at all. Overall, the 4-hour, but nothing's also looking that great. We've the part other than the price action. I started doing analysis. I didn't want to do analysis. I didn't think that the Ethereum crowd out there that watch my videos really even want that. Less than a minute, I'll be on Vet, Randy. Okay, hiya friends, how you been? Ethereum looking towards the top side. Of course, overall, the Ethereum price action is extremely bullish. Has been moving up extremely strongly. Everything's looking extremely good on that front. In every single aspect. I've been pushed up to these heights here recently, managing to avoid having any bearish divergence on the go. What would I say personally? Well, right now I'm looking down to 29.49. If we get a pullback, that's where I want to see the prices coming in at. I expect probably the 20 period moving average will have caught up with that by the point that we get to there, if we get to there. But, not super fantastic. If we in terms of like not necessarily going to get there, but that's where I'm looking to. I'm not super eager to buy into the highs, like sort of always buying the top type of mentality necessarily. I would like to see some sort of pullback, 24-hour time frame and 4-hour time frame, etc., showing us we could be about to see the prices roll over just a little bit here with the bearish divergence we're getting on the 4-hour time frame. If this really kicks in the way, and I would say that we would get confirmation on that divergence if we break down below the middle line of the Bollinger Bands. We might just trace this down the way just for a nice little dip down towards that area. Doesn't necessarily have to happen. The weekly time frame is showing us that if we get a pullback, it might even only go down as far as $3,100. There you go. So Randy, I kept my promise that time. Vet. Bum 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 bum. Is it going to moon? By the way, for people who need to know, who haven't had it explained to them kind of by me in the past, I was looking at the Bollinger Bands there just a moment ago with regards to Ethereum, wasn't I? Do you remember me looking at them? It was literally 1 minute ago that I was doing that, and the prices were outside of the Bollinger Bands. They pushed all the way up, and I was saying we could see a pullback down towards the Bollinger Band. Now this is what we saw with VET here on the weekly time frame, exploding outside the Bollinger Band, and then we came back down to it because of course the prices tend to want to be within 2 standard deviations of their overall average price. Nothing super fantastic about it. We discovered this information like 30 years ago or so in terms of like how this particular thing often works, and there we're seeing it. So that's that in play right there. Haven't actually come all the way back down and retouched off of that target just below before cracking on up the way again. Anyway, how does this look? Well, much like Ethereum. What was I talking about in terms of Ethereum though a minute ago? I said very high, could see a pullback, nothing negative about it, of course, and that's what we saw here in VET. Very high, could have seen a pullback. We did. Overall kept going then on up there after. That's great to see. So there's that aspect to be aware of. 2-day time frame, we came up very high. We did a really great job with that high there. Pulled back down the way, huge massive sort of capitulation. What was it in terms of a drop here in terms of this one? Really incredible, 54% drop there in the space of a month. That's crypto for you, boys and girls. And now we've come on up here. We've not actually gone higher than the previous one. We actually kind of would put in divergence if we hadn't. Right, okay, Randy, remember when I was talking about Ethereum there a minute ago and I said we would have been putting in divergence had we not actually crushed that 2,800, 2,900, 3,000, 3,100, all the way up to 3,400, and it meant we didn't get that divergence. Well, if VeChain would like to go up here and put in a higher high without divergence, how high do you think it would need to go? Looking at this high here and this high just here, and looking at the MACD, for example, and seeing where we're set up currently, looking at the RSI and seeing the differences currently, you know, looking at all these things, looking at the stochastics, you know, like that's where we were, that's where we are now. So two things: if the prices go up just to this area and back down again, then it's obvious that we'd probably get a bit of divergence in here with this, right? Now, this is not textbook technical analysis. Nobody talks like this. This is kind of something that I talk about on this channel. I've never seen anybody else talk like this ever, right? Actually, no, that's not strictly speaking true. Eric Crown has got a guy called Caretaker making indicators for him recently, and one of the things that they talk about is where prices need to go to see certain things happen, and it's not a million miles away from the sort of thing that I'm talking about just here. But this is something that I've talked about for the last since I started the channel. Well, I've talked about it for years and years. Anyway. Yeah, so can we make it up to this region? Well, we can. Our target's 37. The prices currently at the minute are 24. So, you know, there's like a 50% increase in price to get up towards those targets. Let me just kind of measure that out the way and see. Indeed, 50% is what we're looking at there. So is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. There's the analysis. Now I'll try and make a summary video for all of the people who don't want that. Now, I mean, of course, I've not even done the smaller term time frames. You know, of course, there could be pullbacks along the way. Do you care about that, Randy? Let me know what you're thinking about that sort of thing. In fact, what would be kind of scary to you? I'd like to know what would be, you know, what in terms of this analysis would you know, what I need to do, by the way, is to increase the satisfaction levels that people get from the analysis that I do on the channel, right? I need to increase it. At the minute, I've got a 2%. Actually, it's less than. It's more like 1.8% likes to views ratio. So 100 people view my video, 2 people hit the like button, that sort of a thing. That sends a very clear signal to YouTube that there's not satisfying content to people. Other things are that people watch 50% of the video. You know, 50% of the video, the 2% of people hit like, it's not quite cutting it, you know. Whereas Carl the Moon, who puts out really rubbish content, for example, will get much higher percentages there, you know, much higher. So be aware of that. I need to figure out what it is that people actually want off of YouTube. It doesn't change who I am. You know, I'm capable. I've shown that and demonstrated for the last year and a half of doing the TA to the nth degree. Swisher V Baby here can tell you all about it. I can do extremely detailed TA. That maybe would blow people's minds, etc. But what's the point, you know? Because 99% of people tuning in don't want that, and that means it's not sustainable. And sustainable just means won't be able to do it for a long time. That's what sustainable means. And I want to do YouTube for a long time. So let me know what we would need to do. Hey, Rook, nice to see you there. Yeah, pullbacks are normal. Exactly. That's right. You know, price action needs them. It totally does. That's it. So, like, telling people where they are, is there even any point in it? Is there even any point in it? I don't even know, really. I mostly just wanted to give you $5. Randy. Thanks very much, Randy, man. Really appreciate it. Okay, cool. So, right, let's just kind of crack one out for the folks back home. Hi, friends. VeChain, VET, VETUSDT friends. Thank you for joining me. We're taking a look at the charts just here. Got a couple of really nice things to point out. We are at the minute, so 24-hour time frame, in fact, for this one. So long as we stay above the median line of the Bollinger Bands, then I'm quite happy to look up towards the upper side. I've actually got targets not only in here at 27, where I had a previous all-time high, etc., but in fact, the target for me right now in terms of VeChain is up at 37.8 cents, 0.37812 on this one. That's where I'm looking to. That's where I still think that we can get to. Obviously, if you wanted to sort of protect your account in terms of the war of attrition, you could take some profit there at the previous all-time high. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Managing your risk at that median line of the Bollinger Band, looking towards 21 cents. We could get there. Yes, we've got a couple of things like we're going up towards the oversold territory. territory, overbought territory on the stochastics, etc. Yes, that's true. Yes, any high that comes in here without cracking up towards 37 will come with bearish divergence and see the prices capitulate potentially overall. Yes, 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 yes. What are we talking about though? We're looking at this hidden bullish divergence that we're getting here with this last low and saying, you know what, you know what, you know what, hit the like button. Really do appreciate it. 37.812 for those price targets. Bam, who's next? I'm right. Moon tells people what they want to hear. That's why he's popular. Absolutely, absolutely. It is indeed. Good to see you, Horn Hunter. By the way, Horn Hunter, did you know that I did a video for the Wheel of Time? This is a little bit of a diversion for everybody. Sorry to everybody who's tuned in right now watching this. It doesn't want to see this right here, right now, but there you go. Rocky Outcrop, that's me, on what? Check it out. Rocky Outcrop on what? Here's a channel. Check out that guy. That's me. And this is another channel. 2 subscribers, growing very well there. And I did a wee video where I was talking, look, this is the style of video I did for it, for the laugh here. Same jumper, so it looks like I did it earlier on today. That's quite cool. And I made a video about it. So anyway, there we go. Right, so whatever, that's about the Wheel of Time, all that good stuff. Right, excellent. So close that. Don't need to have that open. Anyway, it was a good video, I thought. Enjoyable. Right. Right, got a couple of people coming in and asking about BitTorrent Token. Let's take a look at BitTorrent Token. Take a glance. 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 Take a glance on me. BitTorrent Token. Take a glance on me. BTT BTT USDT. Take a glance on me. Take a glance on me. Hi friends, BitTorrent Token coming at your coupons over here, my friends. Thanks very much for joining me. BitTorrent Token, BitTorrent Token, BitTorrent Token, BTT USDT. You need to say that so it's in the captions down below, so that actually I'll just do it in a less obvious way, right? There were no sunflowers in the other video. Damn it! Yeah, there weren't. So you wouldn't be able to tell. Oh, I'm gonna have to make sure I'm more consistent with my backgrounds, Peter. You're right. Although I love this jumper. It's Lululemon for anybody who's interested. Big American sports brand. Hi friends, BitTorrent Token. That's right, the torrent token, BitTorrent Token. Well, look. Let me think about this. How am I going to be able to say BitTorrent Token 10 times in the first sentence? Because that's what you know, the likes of Crypto do. I'll just do it. Just try not to cringe too much, right? Just try not to cringe too much there, audience members. Let's do the little BitTorrent Token. And we'll jump back over to Bitcoin or whatever else anybody wants to look at. Hello, my friends. BitTorrent Token Technical Analysis coming up here. The BitTorrent Token prices have been going towards the top side. We're looking here at BTT. That is the ticker for BitTorrent Token. BTT versus USDT, of course. So that's BTT USDT on your charts there. And we're looking at that and saying, where could the prices be going? We've got 2 big targets for us. One of them is more or less in around about that region there. Actually, can't see. Let me just see. In around about, yes, just there. Just there. Just there. That's what one of the targets is. And that comes in at around about the 1 cent region. Now it's 0.0102 dollars up to 0.0105. So that's that region that we're looking for. But we could be going even on beyond that. I'm actually really feeling pretty good about this I'm not going to get very many people wanting to watch a video where I'm burping all the time, am I? It's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. Hi friends, BitTorrent Token, BTT versus USDT. That's BitTorrent Token. We're looking at BitTorrent Token here, the token for the BitTorrents. Okay, that's what we're looking at. And we're asking, can the prices gap towards our first target, which is actually in here about 1 cent. I think they can. We're seeing the prices here at around about 80% of a cent, and we're looking to get up to 100% of a cent. That's obviously quite a big percentage move. You know, we're talking tiny numbers here, but we're looking at a 25% move towards the top side. Can we get 25%? I think we can. Now, we're talking as well in the previous BitTorrent Token video that I did, could we get a full 400%? And I think that we actually could in terms of the long-term analysis here on this one, but right now we have to be realistic and look towards the nearest target, and it's 25% away. That's where we are. That's what we're looking at. Can we get there? If we see prices sustain themselves above the 8 cent or the 0.08, 0.008 dollars region, right? Okay, then all good. That's good. That's what I want to see. Do we have any warning signs jumping out of us at the minute? No, we don't. Were we right to have got in on this with you know, after the death cross that we saw here on the 4-hour time frame with the white dotted line there, the red dotted line crossing over each other? That death cross that happened there, it was a big old phony. We knew it was a phony, and of course we came back in, retested this, retested the 200. Those were the easy moves to get. Now, when we got sustained price action above that zone, now we're looking up towards the 618 golden pocket, and it's coming in there at a cent. Really, that's what we need to see happen, and that will be fantastic. Could we get a pullback from there? Yes, we could. Totally natural. Next area to look to is going to be where our all-time highs were. Let me just kind of arrange this so it's more touching it closer accurately, and then I am looking up towards the top side, and I actually do think that we'll go up towards 0.2 cents, right? No, sorry, 2 cents. 2 cents. 2 cents. I feel like 2 cents is the target towards the top side. Okay, gosh. What's missing from that video? I don't really know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know, because the funny thing is I don't watch TA on YouTube, so I don't really know what it is that people want. You know, it's so hard for me to know. It's so goddamn hard for me to know. I've got a really blocked nose today, by the way. For who is that? Breathe too little air. That's what I do. I breathe too little air. I was dead in my coffin when suddenly I saw something in the Bitcoin charts. Pam, 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 today on the Bitcoin price. What's that? If not, please do Cardano. All right, did you do Cardano? No, I didn't do Cardano. Okay, Phil, let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano, no, that's ADA, USDT. I obviously have Taylor Swift stuck in my head, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know it already. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So it did move up the way. Excellent. Fantastic. Fantastic. Shut up, ambulance. Shut up. Wow, long-time viewers of the channel will be aware that that ambulance didn't turn off its siren directly outside my window. Bad driving by that one. You know, it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. It truly is. It truly is. All these highs, have we done enough to do it without divergence on the RSIs? And like, RSI, pullback coming. Shall we keep on going? I'd say we probably will. MACD looking good. Excellent. So people are all upset. Did you see the dislikes I got on my last Cardano video? That's right, damn near 50% thumbs down. Okay, cool. I need to blow my nose, don't I? I'm so stuffy. Ah, that's refreshing. That's better, or whatever. Refreshing? I don't know. I feel refreshed. Right. Cardano ADA USDT technical analysis for you. How you doing, my friends? Hope you're well. This is the charts. What we're looking at right here is how we took out our previous high. Now we have moved up. Are we doing it with divergence? Looking here at the charts, we can see the RSI is giving us a hint of the divergence. Oh, look at that, Danny Ray. Thanks so much. Let's see Telcoin, my man. Always smashing like.
A-okay.
Way, hey. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Right, anyway. ADA, Cardano, USDT, ADA, TA. Thank you for joining me. Looking at the prices here, moving towards the top side, doing nice. RSI giving hints of divergence. We could see a pullback. MACD, histogram, not so much. We've done quite well. What's the stochastics got to say? Well, we've not got the divergence. We're pointing up. Could we look for higher highs? Well, the DMI tries not to lie, as it says that maybe we could. Now we are looking at the 30 zone just there on the ADX. If we see the prices turn back around, then we'll not be cracking that to the top side. That would make sense with the RSI looking to get a rebalance area at 155. The prices are at 173 at the minute. We've got higher targets to look to. I'm just drawing in the Fibonacci retracement tool so we can see where we're managing risk. Up above this golden cross on the 4-hour time frame, pullbacks to 135 are the place that I would manage my risk at on this one. I'm aware that that is a huge drop from 175 to 135, but that's where the 50 simple period moving average resides. If that were to be broken, I'd be looking to the 200, but at that stage I think we probably need to see, well, actually at that stage we'll cross those bridges when we come to them. At the minute we're doing pretty good. I'm looking at the 18 period EMA, thinking if the 153 period, if the 153 price point sustains itself, then I'm absolutely looking towards my next upper side targets. Exciting times in Cardano land, like we said before. It used to be boring, but not for long. It was really nice to see this push up. Where's our next target? And it's not a surprise to see it comes in there at 195. With the prices going to be going up, will we get profit taking happening at that line? Well, a couple of reasons. Of course, it's right next to $2, and that's a big old number, but that's the 1618, and I think people will look there. So can we do it? Will we see it? I think we probably will. That's a nice move for people to have, and of course the best entry on it's 156. Right, cool, done in a sort of basic bitch rap style. Woofed. Right? Am I right? I think I'm right, ladies and gents. Woofed. I'm going to put that on logarithmic. Hiya, friends. Telcoin here. Well, I'm Rocky Outcrop, but this is Telcoin. TELUSDT. We're looking at the prices. What could they be? With the charts on linear, it's hard to see, so I'll pop it on logarithmic so you get to see this. Well, that did the trick. Taking away the Fibonacci retracement, a lot of noise on the charts there. I do appreciate it. Looking at the prices here, we see that they are, of course, trending up very nicely. We've got highs and lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs again and then higher lows again, even though this one came in pretty close. And then we moved on up and we've got really nice price action taking us up to this level, looking for that satisfaction. Now we've pushed on past all of the targets on the Fibonacci. Can we keep going? Are things just that crazy? Well, they might be, you know, looking at this with the stochastics pointing down, having crossed over, and the RSI at the edge of the bullish control zone. Well, I wonder on this one, of course, we've got to see this thing having more upside now. Things are obviously really kind of going along very nicely for it. 1, 2, 3, 4 moves up the way, managing to put in these most recent highs without the divergence. Excellent to see across the board. Is that right? Well, yes, let's call it right. Excellent stuff. Telcoin has done well, I have to say. Where do we want to see the prices sustain themselves above in order to continue this upward trend? Here we have the 236 coming in here, having been broken. Yes, it wouldn't surprise me to see this token go back down to the 50 simple moving average. That's got to be your best buy at this point, looking to get in here at about 0.019, the 2 cents region. Going back down to 2 cents would be good for the next trend. Are we going to see some price action that goes along like this, eventually busting up and then going on to the next disco? Well, quite possibly. I'd like to say that's definitely a good chance of that happening. Means the next move could just be one of those big yins. Looking here and saying that it could go from 4 to 2, then from 2 to 10 maybe even being a little bit maybe under the radar, could be looking up towards 14, 15, 16 if it wants to be the star of the show. Okay, cool. That'll do for Telcoin. Really, overall with this one, we're looking very strong, and I'm not surprised to see that that we're having a little bit of a bull flag in here. It's not quite going with the angle to the downside, or indeed even the upside. Got a triangle on the go with this one. If you wanted to look at it in terms of the low-term time frames, then clearly this is what you're looking out for. Anybody who's trading this down below the 4-hour then want to know, of course, what this looks like. Waiting for the thing to resolve. And flower, can we break outside of this triangle? Looking at the triangle here on the Telcoin, saying that we have, of course, got the measured move potential, something along the lines of the range of where it incepted at. Looking at a move down the way for 60% would take us into our target at 2 cents. Brilliant buying opportunity if it happens. Giving up on looking for that retracement if we see the prices moving above the 4 point. Where would fake out territory be on this one? 4.5 cents would be the region to look to. If we push past 4.5, then I'm happy to say that we're going up towards maybe 5.5 or 6.5. But the biggest move is more likely to be if we get a retrace back down, and then we'll see. Right. What else have we got? Umpatas. Nice to see you there. Nice to see you there, Tas, my friend. Cade Milifulcha to you. Off to the dentist. No more fun than this. Oh my goodness, I love the dentist so much. I love the dentist. I love it so much. I love the dentist. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm so happy for you, Tas. Oh my goodness, there's very few things. I grew up with a phobia of the dentist, okay, and I'm not talking about like an irrational fear, like a phobia. I shouldn't have said that. It was a realistic one. I had a dentist. I've told this story on the channel before. I had a dentist that used to walk around the room at the time saying, "I never wanted to be a fucking dentist anyway. You see, your father was a dentist, and it forced her to be one." Now, she was well loved by one or two men at the same time, to which of course her she confessed it all to her kids and stuff at the end of her death. I mean, it was a massively messed up situation over there with that dentist, like almost like a famous story almost. Anyway, she traumatized the shit out of me. And it wasn't until I went to the doctor and got them to prescribe me a whole bucket load of Valium that I actually got over that fear of the dentist. And when I say fear of the dentist, it's really just, flashbacks to childhood trauma. Yeah, cool, excellent. XTZ, please, says Tom Gemansky. Well, actually, my friend Tongesmaki, I actually opened up the show with the XTZ prices on the TV or on the screen here because I wanted to inspire anybody watching along to ask for us to do some TA, because nobody had asked that recently, and I wanted us to do some, for crying out loud. When are we going to do some TA on this one? Well, looking at this, we've done really fantastic. Didn't actually achieve our Fibonacci retracement point targets, but we got pretty damn good moves recently. Pretty damn good. This process I'm doing. The thing is, I want my Fibonacci's to have that color. Maybe I don't want them to have that color. Anyway, we've done really well with Tezos. I'm so happy for it. I'm also really, really, really disappointed with the Tezos community, because I'm the original gangster Tezos technical analyst here on YouTube. Very much own this space, so I do very much, very, very much. And I was sort of working my ass off for the community in terms of Tezos there. And if it wasn't for Drew's Tech and the people who actually actually, you know, the Tezos Foundation themselves, if it wasn't for Drew's Tech and the Tezos Foundation themselves, then Tezos would be one of the communities who's actually contributed the least to the growth and its success of this channel, despite the fact that I've contributed so much to Tezos. So, you know, I'm a bit of a surprise there for people. I'm sure long-term subscribers will be a little bit like, oh, that's unusual, but it's funny that you say that, Rocky, but there you go. And then they didn't tune back in as we're putting in all-time highs, and I thought, well, there you go. Tezos community, they're just going to have to live without it. And what would have been mentioned by me had we been talking about it would be, of course, the significance of the 770 area. Prices dropped back down towards 726. So that's great to see that the prices have actually dropped down the way, knocking off an additional 5% from people without them necessarily hadn't had that warning from me in advance. So they could have come in and got some, but they didn't. Overall, yeah. So anyway, quite disappointed with the Tezos community in terms of the support they've shown to the channel, despite, you know, my commitment to them. Really, not all of them. Some people in the Tezos community are amazing. The likes of Rossa, amazing. Kevin McCraby himself, amazing. Really great guys. You know, really like these people. I'm just disappointed with the sort of the lack of support. Right. Anyway, 3 likes, not good enough. Yeah, you'd say so. I'd agree with you there, Peter. So anyway, you know what it is? It's not that different. It's the same thing. It's like I had a group of friends when I was growing up, 10 friends, right? Easily, actually it was bigger than that. It's just I say 10 because we regularly played 5-a-side football against each other and stuff like that, and had subs, you know, and I'm one of them. So 10 additional friends, big group of friends. Easily, probably one of the most popular people at high school, etc., and stuff like that. Whenever when I moved back to Scotland and all that sort of stuff, and really, you know, big group of friends. Now, what happened is that it turned out that every single one of my friends, almost every single one of them, was a user. Have we got Sanjo Kojak in here today? There's a few of them that aren't some really good friends of mine that, you know, friends for life, etc. But then these other ones, friends with them for a couple of decades, big users. You know, it's not like I'm not aware of this. I know how it go. I know how it can go with me. I know how it can go with me, and how I can get taken advantage of by people who are kind of like that. Now, I didn't think like that it would be like that with any of them, and I still don't think that. You know, I'm not comparing the Tezos community to my friends that for decades that genuinely turned out to be bad people, actually bad people. So anyway, not comparing that yet, but we will at some point in the future if things don't pick up a bit. Anyway, Tezos, here we go, all the way up to all-time highs. Looking at this one and saying, wow, we've dropped down. We could be going down to test this 200 simple period moving average. Of course, that's the 15-minute time frame, so what use is that? Literally none. Going up towards the 4-hour time frame, though, you can see we've just had a golden cross here in the 4-hour. Could we see these averages getting a retest? Yeah. Where would that retest likely happen at? Probably actually down towards that 650 zone. What, Rocky? What? Another 10% off the prices? Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, it could happen, right? And that would be your best buy point for us. I would like to see this happen. I would like to see us get a retest of the 50 simple and then move up the way. I actually drew that arrow in a bit low. I'd like to see that sort of thing happen. No guarantees, of course. Do I want to give the proper technical analysis though? Well, clearly don't, because the Tezos community doesn't appreciate it, as I've been talking about there. Not all of them, a lot of them do. Just, you know, the vast majority don't. So how about instead I don't do that? Let me see here. I've already alluded to too much good stuff, which is far too valuable for people. No, let's scale it down a wee bit. Going up towards the 24-hour time frame. We're above the 382 at the minute. That's good enough for me to be bullish on this. So let's do that. Let's talk about this box here. It's still real, by the way. It's still real. Just going to kind of dumb it down a lot. It's still very, very real technical analysis. There we have it. That's what I'm looking to on this one. And then I will take a measure. I'll take a target. I think I've probably already got this scoped out for us. Yeah, I do. Cool. Excellent. And then drop a stream marker. If anybody from the Tezos community disagrees with anything I've said, I'd love to hear it. Numerous ways of getting in touch with me. Hi friends, Tezos here, XTZ looking up towards the top side. Can we get a move up towards that orange serrated line there? 995, that's our target overall. Well, 994 is where I've got it drawn in at. And I'm looking at this region right here, right now, saying that if we see the prices dropping down below the 729 region, then I'm actually looking down as far as 650. Where is it? Oh, I didn't mark it on. I'll just drop a little box in here around about 650 area, so that I've got it on the charts. So there we go, that's what I'm looking to. This would be the 618 Fibonacci pocket in here that I've just drawn on. That's where that would be. Targets up the way. So if we do actually take out this higher number at 6776, what's that? Well, that's taking out the 236, and then we have a couple of different ways of going here. So from the very top end of this box, we could be going up. From the lower end of this box, then we could be going down to here and then up thereafter. That's my TA on this one. Not super complicated, doesn't need to be. There's a couple of things I would point out, like the divergences over there. Now, that's not the end of the show though, because we have got XTZ versus BTC. And that's what I'm going to be looking at just next. A couple of really significant things happening here with the price action. As you can see, we're coming in for a golden cross. Can we retest this area thereafter? Well, that's something to be looking for. Of course, if you want to see us talking about that, just come along to a live stream one day and ask me the question, Rocky, do you think we could test the 50 period simple moving average after a golden cross or not? And I will give you a good deal of answers on that front. This being up above 13,170 satoshis is what I want to see. The prices being where they are right now is actually satisfying me overall. Even though we've dropped down, we are below that area right now. I want to see us taking out the 13,170 area, and then we can look towards the top side. The fact that we're below this right now, you know, well, I'm very close to that, and I'm kind of being patient and waiting to see how things pan out. If we do continue to go down, the targets that I'm looking to, of course, are down there towards the 10,000 Satoshi level, and then thereafter I'm looking up towards the 26,095 Satoshis. In many senses, this is the dark horse of crypto right now. As you can see with this Bitcoin chart, look at the massive amount of, this is logarithmic as well, by the way, you know, linear chart here, just to make it even more kind of dramatic looking. We've dropped all the way down, and you know, this is one of the best opportunities in crypto at the minute overall. You know, managed to secure that 13,170 zone, and I'm looking up for 100% increase in price. It's a very good opportunity. That'll do for Tezos. Right, cool. I've taken your advice and day traded Tez. Oh, really? Cool. Excellent. Nice one. You'd think the Tezos community would be pushing these vids. You would, wouldn't you? But they don't. Well, of course, not. I mean, by they, I mean the community, one or two people from it. Out of all of the communities, now let me be very clear, out of all of the communities of everybody that watches the coins, the one that supported the channel the most is Tezos. So while I was admonishing to Tezos out there, if you consider yourself to be part of any other community out there, consider yourself worse than Tezos, by the way. That's right. Bitcoin guys, zero. You've done zero for me, Bitcoin guys. Really, you know, almost, nearly, almost, you know, nearly. What would be the worst one? The worst one would be the likes of, you know, stupid shit coins like SafeMoon and the likes of that. They've been the worst in terms of like what those people think, you know, really, because it was just a waste of time. But yeah, so anyway, that's my opinion. It's shocking stuff, isn't it? Shocking stuff. Tezos, you'd think the Tezos would do more, since I really run, I know I brought the passion to the Tezos community for a very long time. So quite, you know, just waiting to see. Maybe people will talk to me after the stream. Maybe I'll get some comments out there from the Tezos people saying, don't think like that about that. But yeah. Tezos, by the way, Tezos, like I say though, they've been the best out of everybody. In fact, you know what? Let's just change that around a wee bit. I know I already said all this, but let's just be a wee bit more critical, by the way, with Tezos TA, drawn in from the actual high there, instead of the impulse before we went down. I'm broadening this out the way. Now, there's often discussion on the channel about Fibonacci's, etc., and how you would choose your area. The reason I'm doing this is because what I'm doing is I'm talking about a potential for 100% move. This lines up better with my red line for the 382 than it did before. As you can see, it lines up better like that. This is drawn in for other reasons, which means I've got confluence in at that point there, and various little things in here too. Reasons why. Let me just see body for the body of it. Yeah, it means that we didn't actually ever take out the 236, etc. as well in terms of our bodies and all that. That's what I wanted to do to make sure. Right. Yeah, fuck it. I'm doing AMC. Sorry, Phil. Moving on to AMC. AMC. That is, of course, not the token, not any crypto or any of that shit. This is from the world of stocks. Stocks and shares. Loving Care Bears. Take us to the moon, would you please? Quite soon. Blah 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 blah. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Well, we had this manipulated blow off top in here. This was bullshit, by the way, for people who are interested. Now, in a world where you want to talk about the short squeeze and all the rest of it having happened and all this sort of stuff, get a lot of people talking about this sort of thing in terms of the prices, blah blah. You can see that we've really just came up to shy of one of our previous highs. And if you wanted to be honest, we had this down. This was a high. This was a low. This is a 24-hour time frame, but I'll actually just put up to the weekly so I can make this point without anyone disagreeing. High, low, high, low. What was all these stuff in between? What was that stuff? What was all that? That was nothing. Okay, that was nothing. And but this was a high, this was low, this was a high, this was a low. And what was this? Well, this was a high, I guess, but it didn't do anything crazy. Unlike GME, didn't do anything crazy, right? Didn't do anything crazy at all. Now GME is basically like it's gone from tadpole to frog. It's changed. What a lot of people don't realize about GME who are talking about it, a lot of people have got great respect for, is that really they've got a chart from the past, which is one company. Now they've got a different company entirely. It's a different proposition. The likes of Patrick Boyle, Eric Crown, etc. People who have got a great deal of respect for, being very, very, very casual, just doing that technical analysis hubris that we've seen happen so many times. Now, I would be one of the first to tell you happily that you need to be careful when you're trading. I always bring in the risk management things. In fact, I talk about the downside probably more often, not today in today's live stream, but more often I talk about the risk and the downside than I talk about targets. I'll do an episode that lasts for 10 minutes and I'll talk about the upside targets for like 30 seconds and then tell you all of the risk, because that's what trading is. Now I'll be one of the first to tell you about how there's risks involved here or whatever. But then what you have is you have a lot of people out there who just want to capitalize on the memeness of things and just take advantage of stuff. You can see it in the congressional hearings as well. Nobody knows what they're talking about. It's very, very horrible. And it's a big clear signal, when you've got everybody saying the same thing about something. You got everybody saying the same thing about something. And we know that people are morons, right? We know this. It means they're wrong, right? The times whenever it's hardest to know what's happening are when it's like 50-50 and you've got half the room saying one thing and half the room saying the other. If you're in a room and every single person in it is saying to you that something's going to go one way and there's not one person saying that they think the opposite, well, in terms of what we're seeing in terms of professional TA level stuff, then what it means is that there's a couple of people out there who are just sitting quiet, who aren't saying, because there's always an alternative case to be made. So if there's nobody making that, and nobody out there is making that alternative technical analysis case for something at all, other than me and my actual brother trade spotting, then then right? Then that because there is somebody out there thinking this could be the case, and if they don't say it, then it's a big signal, right? So this is where we are. Whoops. If we take out these price points, then I'm not exactly happy. 843 is my low on this one. Now, I do think that we could go down happily. We could go down. Wouldn't be happy, though, but we could go down, again. The fact is that we've had an impulse move up the way, and we've come back down ever since, gone on up again and down. Now, you can see that we actually came down to the 786. In terms of, looking at this, I did an Elliott wave thing recently. You don't want to really see the prices going down below the 618, but in terms of Elliott wave really being a useful tool, it's not actually a very useful tool. It's actually quite rubbish, really, overall, to be honest with you. I mean, it's useful. It is useful, but it's just a question of looking at the different Fibonacci's and stuff. It's clear to the entire world. This is the weekly chart. Clear to the entire world. This massive blow off top and then the massive return down the way was like what we see every day in crypto. This was people getting liquidated, etc. And then, of course, then this enthusiasm on the way back down was incalculable. It was going to end at one of these points. It was going to end at one of them, and it happened to end there. But really, it's not. This is not like organic price action, etc. This is just radical stuff that was happening. So I'm happy. I'm happy to discount it, but I'm not going to start including it in wave analysis or anything. Also, as well, there's this is obviously so gappy and disgusted, and nobody really knew what was happening in this entire time here. So what I did recently when I was looking at the same thing with the GME is I just discounted that entire area. The price action that happened in here, from this point here to 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 this point here was highly manipulated. It was there's liquidations causing it. It was weird stuff. I mean, look at this. Look at the body on this candle. Look at the body on that candle, etc. The massive wick, etc. This whole thing is fucked up, right? So essentially, what I've been doing with this is just ignoring it and looking at that and saying, well, "There's your upward side movement." Now, this is quite clear. That was natural. This was natural. This was natural. This was more natural. This was natural. Natural. And you can see that we've got a clear channel on this one, right? Clearly, that's so obvious, right? That's obvious there, and it goes all the way down, really, you know. And then we've had a period of sideways. What are periods of sideways? Well, there are periods of consolidations. We've just had a period of consolidation. So this is the zone to be looking to. And this is one of those complicated things. So when people say to me, should you draw Fibonacci's in, etc.? Well, you've got a couple of different modes of looking at it. We were very, very likely to find ourselves coming back down to the 618 of this move. This region down to 786 was, of course, the impulse back down the way. It was kind of bullshit. But seeing us coming back down to the 618 again thereafter and floating around this price point, after it's made perfect sense to me from this high. Now, from this point onwards, this isn't really all that useful. And instead, what I want to look towards is the relationship between where we actually rounded out our bottom at, so we found a degree of supply and demand in here, and then the high that we came in at with a nice big move candle up, sank back down, and then a sort of probably bearishly divergent. What's the point in checking on the small term time frames? Almost certainly bearishly divergent, natural organic high in there. So what I would do then, therefore, is draw in my Fibonacci over here like this and consider it. And now you can see how the price action lines up perfectly. You've got this low, this high. You've got your 236 in our clear area of support and resistance. You've got this zone here would be like, if it moves past that'll be where the 786 is, by the way. If we move past the 786, I'm not interested in staying in longs, etc. Got the golden pocket giving us our best buy area. We've just had that. We just dipped into it yesterday, had a green day today. Fantastic. So we've done everything that we need to do in terms of this sideways and this retrace from the high up here, this high that we had, having come in from this low down the way up to this high. Having drawn in the low of the Fibonacci in at this price point and the high in at this price point, okay? And now we've had the 618 in here, that's that, and we know the 236 is right in here, okay? And that's what we're looking to. So now you know what these numbers mean, or what these boxes mean. This is, of course, our previous high. This is the last significant high. This area over here is bullshit. I'm not looking to it, although it's not bullshit from the broad perspective, like in many ways. Like I said, you can see here that, of course, we came up towards this previous area where we had our last nice movement up, the end of the last bullish phase in this overall downward trend. And it has been a downward trend, by the way, with AMC since back in 2015. So that's a downward trend for 6 years. 6 years of a downward trend. 6 years, ladies and gentlemen. Not coronavirus that caused this one, but 6 years of downward trend. And so, have we finally come to the point where we, really fully put in the worst of the worst of the worst? This thing, which was $2, which at one point in the past was easily valued up there at 36. Not only have we potentially done that, but overall, I am looking towards a $50 price target, and that does come from Elliott Wave, by the way. I got my disparaging chat about it earlier on. But at the minute, what I'm looking for with regards to this one is, can we get past this zone here of 1240? Do I think that we'll come in and challenge 1240 again? Yes, I do. I think that we'll come in and challenge 1240 again. So for people who are really negative on this one at the minute, they're being really ignorant, willfully ignorant, and I can't stand willful ignorance. I really can't stand it. It really annoys me. I'm not joking. Willful ignorance really annoys me. So when I see it happening from other people on YouTube, it massively chips away at the respect that I have for them. No names mentioned at this point on this one, because the guys that I mentioned earlier on were not being willfully ignorant with regards to this particular aspect of TA. So I'm not associating those names I said earlier on with this, but it really annoys me. And you can see a 33% move potential for towards the top side. It's nothing to be sniffed at. That's more than enough. You know, if I want to look back here, then let's just take our time in the past for AMC. It's always been quite good in terms of trends for this one, and just look at the highs to the lows that you've got over here. That's 20%. It's 20%. It happened over a long period of time, and it looks quite a lot, right? That looks like a lot. That looks like a lot there, doesn't it? That movement, for instance, you know, look in this region over here where we went sideways for a year, went sideways for 3/4 of a year, and during that period of time, the prices moved from its highs to its lows there 30% or whatever over the period of 200 days. You know, you were ranging in here or whatever. So for people to be saying to us right now, like, because we put in that high, we're going to crash right down all the way to zero at the minute, blah blah blah, you know, and saying that that's necessarily going to happen, and that even if we went up towards these highs up here, it doesn't matter from a TA or trading perspective, because we're going to crash down the way. You know what they're doing? They're just buying into that meme talk, that meme chat from and they're being willfully ignorant, and what they're trying to do is get YouTube views, and it pisses me off as I sit here with 12 concurrent viewers, right? I'm very much aware of how I could be talking about this differently and getting more viewers. I'm very much aware of that right now, ladies and gentlemen. All 11 of you. It's gone down one. All 11 of you. So it pisses me off when I see that. It's willfully ignorant and it's stupid, right? 30% is more than enough. Oh, by the way, for everybody who's interested, I'm 1 hour and 17 minutes into the stream. I'm tuning out at about 1.5 hours. If anybody wants me to take a look at anything else, then you get your comments in there, etc. And all that sort of stuff, and I'll take a look at it. But you know, whatever. Right. Totally not bothered about any of this sort of shit. I'm here to help people, by the way. It's all I do. It's all I ever do on the channel. It's all I've ever done for quite a while. But my levels of sort of enthusiasm for stuff is not high at the minute, right? It's just not. So yeah, right. Acknowledgements right now. We are below the moving averages. They are about to cross. It does look fairly negative in that sense. We've come down the way though. How does this bottom line up the way? And it's bullishly divergent, isn't it? Or is it? Let's just see. Yes. RSI not quite giving us to that, but the MACD showing us it's bullishly divergent there. And the MACD is what I would probably lean in terms of traditional land onto the MACD more so than on the other ones. In terms of crypto, I lean towards the RSI for my divergence ahead of the others. If I was to make a king out of it, traditional land would probably make the MACD the king out of it, although my opinion on that does change from time to time, as I constantly audit myself when I'm trading. Anyway, bullish divergence there at the low. We came up towards our high. So how have we done in terms of this movement here recently? Just to see, we did get the 618 on that one. So we're right between, and we're in this consolidation phase. The fact of the matter is that this is a high and it's higher than our previous high. The fact of the matter is that this is a low and it's higher than our previous low. As soon as we take out those moving averages, as soon as the prices are above this region right here, then we're going to there. okay? That's just the way it is. As the prices drop below this region here, then we're going down, and we may not stop at 7. We may go all the way down to 5.5. That could happen, right? That's what could happen with AMC. At the minute, I'm looking for 33% increase in price. Thereafter, I'm looking for the prices to go up towards 14.97. So I've got 2 targets up the way, and that, of course, comes in with a 50% increase in price. Nothing to be sniffed at, and I'm not going to talk about things like the short squeeze or whatever. I'm not particularly interested in the short squeeze. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to talk about the short squeeze all the time as if that's a thing, but I'm a technical analyst, you know, and a trader, a professional trader. So while it's great to talk about the short squeeze for the memes of it and everything else, and for the chat and everything else, it's like I can just look at this like a trader, and what can I acknowledge? Well, I can acknowledge that this here is clearly bullshit, that this here is a channel towards the top side, that this here is a retrace down from it, that this here is a potential higher low after a higher high, that this is your low, your high, your higher high, and that we could be going up, and that the next target, the realistic next target, is 33% up from where we are right now. If we see the prices move up just a couple of percent, if the prices take out their previous wick, then the target is down here, looking for a bounce at that stage. Almost certainly, by the way that that's shaped up, would come in with bullish divergence again on all of the oscillators at that point, not just the MACD, and I'd be looking up the way. And there isn't anything else to be said about it. Everybody else, you know, everybody who's saying stuff like it's going to go to 0 are just trying to cash in on the views. And while I do like and enjoy and contribute to the whole mother of all short squeeze chat and whatever else, you know, actual traders, like, you know, we don't need to see the prices go up towards 50 to be happy. 30% up is nice, you know. The prices could go up 400% though in this one, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's not that big a deal. If I'm looking for a 400% move, look, this is the way it is, right? People wet themselves when they talk about a 400% move here in this one. If I'm looking for a 400% move in terms of trading, and I'm not planning on using stop losses, and I'm just going to smooth out my skull, not caring about anything, then I'm happy enough to look towards the target I've got for BitTorrent Token, which from today's price action is only 225% up. But you know, there's a potential for it to go up 400% if this continues to trend down the way and we get in with that move. So there's a 225% move, got a 100% move lined up on Tezos, you know, again and again and again. And when you stack these things up again and again and again and again and again, you don't really need to rely on one single moment of meme stuff that is going to make it onto the front cover of the news. There's no news station around the world is going to talk about how Rocky Outcrop just made 100% on another trade today, you know, or whatever. That's not going to happen. But it's going to happen for me a hell of a lot more than that short squeeze stuff's going to happen, and I don't really care, and 33% is good enough. Right, are we done here? Let's just see here if there's anybody else. At some point we have to check Dogecoin, right? Yeah, cool. Phil, you're probably right. We have to check Dogecoin. Right, talking about this, right, you heard me saying there just a moment ago with regards to the AMC short squeeze chat, right? You heard me talking about it. You heard me talking about it. What did I talk about when the prices were here with Doge for viewers? Well, we talked about them coming in. That's the wrong fucking thing. Sorry, Doge USDT. Wrong thing. Sorry. Excuse me. That was the wrong chart or whatever. There's my line, right? Do you see my line up there? Do you see my line up here? Do you see my line? Do you see it? It's there. It's orange. Do you see it? It's just there. Let me just get up Streamlabs so I can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, this line. Do you see this line up here on Doge, by the way? Do you see it? Do you see it there? Do you see it? Let me just get a measuring stick out, by the way, from down here. Up to up there, 336%. So when people like go mad with the AMC and the GME stocks short squeeze, and it's a lot of hype and everything else about it, do I really care when within the last couple of weeks I told people about how to make this amount of money? This is a 24-hour time frame, so just going back the way. Now to the likes of Phil out there who do watch all the shows, etc., and thinking, oh my god, how did I miss that or whatever? I'm sorry, buddy. You know, it's like it's in there. So 2 weeks ago we were talking about these lows, came back up the way. Could we go up, etc. You know what? As well, by the way, in this, I actually said the prices were coming up. I didn't predict the highs at 40. I'm sorry. I predicted the highs at about 35. They went up a bit. After they got 35, though, they dropped down 33%. You've heard it before here. Good move. Then they pumped up another 76%. Then I got the 45 target where that liquidity box is. Then they dropped down. Then they went up again, you know, to that target. Do I even do Dogecoin? You know, let me just... January 2021, that's the wrong chart. Minus 5 cents. That was a joke, by the way. Minus 5 cents. That was a joke. Didn't get very many people laughing, but it was a joke. How Dogecoin is going to make you rich. Prices at this point, 0.296. Down here. See this? No, Phil. The answer is no. I don't need to do Dogecoin. I don't need to do shit. That's the answer for you, buddy. I don't need to do anything, in fact. Let me see what I was saying back here instead, and then I'll tune out. Towards 21 exponential moving average on the 4-hour time frame. Have we done enough to justify feeling positive about this one quite yet? Well, let's take a look. Hit that like button. Here's an opportunity, right? The intros are running. You might be skipping. You might be thinking, I'll skip 10 seconds. Just hit the like button. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just hit it. Just hit it. Join me for a live stream sometime. This was requested by KDoc, this coin right now, to take a look at. So join me for a live stream. Request the coins that you're looking to take a look at. 2 minutes of Doge coming up right now. Key target for us up above actually isn't here where this 21 EMA resides, even though it's nice to look at and it's very nice to feel positive about it. And it's actually up above this red 50 simple period moving average, which is also where this red horizontal serrated line is. And that's at that 29 centicles region. Why do we want it to push up past that zone? If we actually zoom on in and take a look at the price action with a bit more detail from a sort of pattern type analysis point of view, you'd be saying that this is an ascending triangle. Wouldn't that be nice to breach on up the way? Now, the 21 EMA you can see there is within this zone, kind of indicating to us maybe we might be ranging within this a little while longer. And the 50 simple is up there at what you could consider to be kind of fake out territory. We really need to see the prices push on past that. Then we maybe have got positive targets to come in. Who am I to stand in the face of our fluffy canine friend? And I'm going to just look up towards the top side and say that reasonable targets actually are as high as 62. That's no. I don't need to do anything. In fact, tell you what, I'll come back whenever I see. I think I'll go now. Does anybody want me to stay? I don't know if anybody wants me to stay. To the 17 viewers, let me just as well. By the way, look at this: 138 views, 12 likes, 12 likes. 12 likes on that video. I tell you how it's going in here, how this is happening. I tell you that it's going to happen for a bit longer. I tell you it's going to go up the way. I tell you that we've got this fake out territory, which is clearly to be looked to. I tell you that we're going up to the 62 price point. Why the fuck do I bother? Like, honestly, why the fuck? Why, honestly? Why fucking bother? Why bother? Guys and girls out there, why fucking bother? Honest to fucking God, right? Why bother, right? So, anybody, Winky Donkey says stay. Bitcoin Cash, please, says Winky Donkey, right? So, right, Phil, I would have done Dogecoin technical analysis in there, but because of the sheer lack of, like, let's look at the comments in here. Hidden material looking fresh. Thanks. It was. Nice hat. He's talking about my hat in there. Nice stuff. Great show as always, says Bernard Bryan. 11 replies. I'm ready to get rich with ISI. Oh, really? So this guy here is actually, right? Spam. It's actually spam, okay? So I had one comment from a guy who liked my hat, right? I got 12 likes, I got 138 views, and I told people exactly how the price is going. What the fuck am I doing wrong? Why is that not one of the most viewed videos on Dogecoin ever? And why the fuck should I do it again now? Like, obviously, the Dogecoin people out there don't appreciate the analysis I've done at all. Like, there's no point. Right? And I said it right there. It's not clickbait. It wasn't fucking clickbait. I wasn't clickbaiting anyone. How Dogecoin's going to make you rich. I told you how the fuck it would make you rich, people. I fucking told you. So, Bitcoin Cash, apparently. Bitcoin Cash, right? Let's just take a look at the old Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to assume that you mean BCH, by the way, USDT, winky winky. If you mean, thank you very much. My sunflowers like you back, by the way, winky winky. And by the way, nice to see you out there, Scotty Sniper. Nice to see you, Scott Baker. Nice to see you, Sonia R. Nice to see you here, everybody else. Everybody. David Rodriguez, good to have you again here as well, my friend. Kadithi Kambai, as they say in Grenada. Yeah, I'm going to assume that you wanted Bitcoin Cash, looking flash right inside our green box zone. Yes, we did it. We called the top, then we called the rebuy area for you here. What is that? It's looking fat. It's the price action that we chatted about. What have we got on the go over here? Managed to come in without the divergence on the MACD. Over here on the RSI, you've got that bearish divergence if we drop down. If we go down past our lows, they are looking lower too. The wicks in here, well, in fact, they show us right where we need to see the prices going. In fact, you know, that's the box right there for now. If the prices drop down below, in terms of a closing basis, closing bodies down below $1,380, then I think things get a bit dicey. Could be looking down the way. The area, if we see a price pull back on this thing to look to, would be the 618. Looking here at the past, how have we done with regards to pullbacks? Bringing up the price charts, you can see that we had a high in here and a high in here. When we came in for our next highs, the prices dropped down to this low here, and this low here, looking over to the left, came in at the previous highs. Going on up to the next level, taking a look at the next high, we came on up to this area here, we dropped on down to this area here. When we did it, we did indeed take out our previous high. Moving on up the way here, we can see that that was our high. When we came into the next high, we put in a retrace that took down to our previous high. Going on up to where we are now, to make this thing mean something to people tuning in, you can see we've come up for our next high. If we drop down the way here, we'd be coming down to the 618. Yes, sure, we could just come down to the 0.5. That's in at 1145. If we go down to this orange line, it wouldn't surprise me at all. That was support, resistance, flipped. It was resistance, it became support. Now we are up here looking decent. Can we keep on pushing up? That's the question that we would like to answer. The DMI showing us that we've turned around at the 40 level here with the divergence on it. That's right. Well, anyone looking to go long would need to manage their risk accordingly. Going long from in here at this price, then you're looking at this sort of thing here. You'd need to that's how you would have to do it if you waited for a retest. That's where we are now. It's not really worth it overall. Looking for continuation at this point. It's not worth it overall. We've done it, ladies and gents. What can I say? What can I say? What can I fucking say? I mean, what can I say? I can tell you what I can say again. I can tell you what I can say again. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. I could do this if I wanted to do this. BCH. Sorry guys, you just need to actually tune in. The 13 concurrent viewers here. BCH, you just need to tune in. You just need to tune in. You just need to tune in.
That was a bit of fun, but right. Because
5th
we're
of
right within
May.
sniffing distance of the edge of our targets anyway, and to be fair to anybody who's taking profits even here and now, that's totally fine. Yes, I'm aware of the fact that that is nearly 20% between where you could be taking profits at now and where the prices could ultimately go to.
It's all in there, always in there. Would you have taken some of your profits at that level? Yes, you would. And some of the rest of your profits at this level? Yes, you would have. Potentially, would these have made you more? Well, on spot, they'd have made you 20% more. On leverage, you know, it would have been more if you're using 3x, for instance. You took half your profit here and took the other half up there. The second half, which was, you know, would have made you 20% more than the first half at that point, right? So that's what we're looking at overall with regards to this one. What do you want me to say? It's bullish. Yeah, it's bullish. Done. I'm done. I'm done. All right, anybody got anything? All right, anybody got? Wait, Scott Baker, thank you so much, man. I know. Yeah, right. This is better than John Cooper Clark. Quality. Since you're not big on BSTA, maybe pulled answers. Thanks, people. I know you all appreciate me so much. You should have recorded that as TA lead-in. Lol. Which bit? What bit? What bit should I have recorded as? I don't even know, man. I don't know. All winky wonky and shit. Well, that's such a quality username, Winky Wonky Donkey. By the way, I love that. I love the joy, the joie de vivre that you bring to your username there, my friend. By the way, really love that. Right. Okay. Look, people, do you want me to stay? Do you want me to go? Winky Winky Donkey is his real name. Need to be getting your Dodge content on Reddit so the community know about it is all. Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I do. It's not for me. I'm not going to go out there. Right. Imagine yourself, Reddit user. You see some guy come along promoting his own shit. What do you think? You think bullshit. You think this is bullshit, him promoting his own shit. You think fuck off is what you think, right? Then what do? Do you share my stuff? No, you don't. So you don't get another Dogecoin episode today. So I'm not going to tell you how to make life changing wealth today, right? Tell you what though, if you want to see me do TA and to be super happy to be doing the TA all the time, super happy to be delivering people loads of money all the time, then maybe, and I don't know, but maybe if you were to go onto the Reddits and stuff yourselves and share them so that I didn't look like a complete asshole, that might have done it. How, you know, for example, somebody could go on Reddit right now and say, oh my God, this guy called that move perfectly, right? Almost, you know, right, almost to the penny he called that move. And not only that, but he got the last 3 moves with Dogecoin. If I'd only exclusively traded off the information in this guy's video, I'd have probably made 300 or 400 or 500% on my account over the last few months. You could go and do that anytime, right? You could do it anytime. Any of you could. You all know that none of you will, right? You all know it. I know it. You know it. We all know it. Nobody will, right? But you all could, right? And what people would say on Reddit is they would say, oh my goodness, I just watched it. You're right. They'd give you a thumbs up. You'd get flair. You'd get seen to be cool, right? Whereas if I do it, I'll get a thumbs down. I'll be told that it's bad, and I'll be off put into the channel. So, what do we think is the dynamic that's going on here? Do any of you at all feel anything like the friends that I had who were all users for 20 odd years, who I eventually had to cut out of my life? Do any of you feel anything like that at all? These are friends who I was friends with from the age of 11, right? 11 up until 33, right? And I stopped being friends with them. So do any of you feel anything at all like that? I wonder if you do. I wonder. Right. Yeah, cool. Excellent. Nice one. Yeah, well, pretty much done here. Anybody else? Do I have Twitter? Yes, I do. Rocky_Outcrop. Can you look at OCGN? Says Scott OCGN. If anybody wants me to take a look at, by the way, traditional world stuff, totally just ask. By the way, I got into crypto thinking that maybe doing the crypto TA would be helping out like kindred spirits out there. You know, I left the bank because they were wank, went on to live my own life, and wondered if, you know, I thought, hey, this is the thing to do. Didn't realize that the actual traditional world would probably be much more appreciative of what I'm doing. So thank you so much for suggesting to take a look at a traditional world thing. Let's take a look at it. This is called OCGN. I did iShares China the other day, by the way, for people who are interested too. It's not like I don't do stuff like this. And I'm assuming that this is what you meant, by the way, when you asked for this. So yeah, cool. First off, what am I going to do? Well, you can see here the moving averages, etc., right along that flat line along the bottom where it was basically nothing, right? I'm going to change it to logarithmic so at least I get some sort of movement on this chart here. Then I'm going to hit the auto button so I can actually see what we're looking at. So we had those highs and lows. So you can see this is a very different chart all of a sudden with just clicking two different buttons, the log and then the auto button at the bottom of the screen. Little tip for people, pardon me. Right. This thing's insane. What even is this, by the way? I don't really know what OCGN is. I've never not traded this one in the past myself. Even my VPVR, which is set on mad settings, by the way, like inputs on this one, 164 row size, 164 row size on this one, still gets a massive node here. How old is this? It's only been around since 2014. That'll explain partly why I don't really know what it is. Right. This is like a ridiculous cryptocurrency. Great, nice one. I like it. I like what I see. Let's take it from the point of departure in terms of Fibonacci retracement, just to show us that we've come up past the 50% and we're testing that 618. Okay, because I need to get that on screen for everybody. It's important to acknowledge. Not the 50%, 618. What am I saying? What am I saying? Sorry, the debt. I forgot that we're on logarithmic for a split second there. If this was a linear chart, that would have made sense. What I just said. Still so far away. This is. It was worth so much and went to be worth so little that to get up to a point where you could actually have a Fibonacci retracement, the 236 is still miles away at 3909. Opportunity. What is OCGN? I need to just sorry guys. OCGN. OCGN. Earnings. A real shot at the US COVID vaccine market. Biotech. Ocugen. Oh. They're a biotech company. And they probably had some bullshit medicine that didn't work. Oh, right. Okay, cool. So you can see, right, by the way, just for people who trade traditional and then trade crypto and want to know what's going on with crypto, here you have a medical company that could have been doing something in medicine. Then what will have happened if you look back in time? This is when technical analysis has got everything baked in. You always know. At this point in time, they got found that there's some sort of rumor or came out or the board of directors themselves realized that all of their products were bullshit and they'll probably end up getting sued or something like that and didn't work. Then here at this point, everybody else heard about it. And then at this point here, they knew it was true and the thing just gapped down the way, filled in a gap here quite nicely. Then went down to zero because their company was worthless. And then they were like, oh, let's have a bash at a coronavirus thing. It's a bit sort of late in the day, but it's helped their stock price recover. And, you know, until this thing goes above $39, it's really not worth anything. Could it get some higher highs in here? Well, you know, this latest high was divergent across the board, right? You know, well... Right, sorry, I spent too much time on this one. That's because there's very little to say. Also, it's because I'm so happy to be back in traditional land for a whole while. This high that we've got in here on this red candle is divergent. Wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback. I wouldn't be surprised if this takes out the 50. If this takes out $3, then it's going to zero again. Okay, let's just draw in a couple of horizontals. Will it try higher one last time? You know, you know what? I think it will. I think it might. I do think it might. I think this might try higher one last time. I think this might try higher one last time and come up for that. Come up towards these higher numbers. Now that means that there's huge profits to be made here, if that's the case. But I'm not feeling good on this at all. Like, I mean, you know, it should go down to here. It should go down to here. It should go down to $3. That's what it should do. Okay. On this one, I'm thinking, will we get one last push at this and get a second, you know, a second high with divergence on it, or not? If that's the case, I would have to say as well that because there is the potential for real world news and fundamentals, there you go, it can happen, ladies and gentlemen, because fundamentals might actually affect this thing here, then maybe it's worth looking into this more. I don't want to give too many comments on it. It's a ridiculous market. Has anybody got anything else out there from the world traditional land they want to take a look at all, or whatever? Because, you know, this here, it's like a shit coin, right? It's like a shit coin. Their business model, it's like a shit coin. Their trust factor is probably worse than a shitcoin. They've probably destroyed people's lives along the way, etc. You know, and now they've got this chance of a coronavirus vaccine, and well, they haven't got one yet, which is a bit, you know, they're a bit slow off of it. While all the other ones start to seem like they're not working. I'd have to look at the news. I'd have to look at what's actually going on with the company to give you a better idea. I feel like we could push up one more time. At this point here, we'll find out that it's, you know, a complete failure, and it's not worked. At what targets would we have? Could this be a cup with handle? Oh God, could it be? You know, a cup with handles are continuation patterns. They're not reversal patterns, so I would say no. But it's a big sort of cup idea. You know, we've got this twin peak effort here. If we push past that, then yeah. Then let's target 39. If we push past 14, let's target 39. The prices are currently 738. Let's acknowledge the prices need to go up 100% to get there, which means that if we did get anywhere into these moves, I'd just be putting my stop loss up. Trailing stop loss, probably, if I was using like MetaTrader to trade this, I'd probably just stick on a trailing stop loss and not allow the prices to drop back down below $12 or something like that, you know, from the point that I put the trailing stop loss on, and just see if it got up towards the 30s and just be happy to take what I take on that one. That's how I would treat that one, I think. TA on Telcoin, please. I've already done Telcoin, by the way, my friend. Let's just go take a look at Telcoin again. Telcoin TA for everybody interested on the stupid coin over here. It's been doing fantastic. Nope, not going to load up. Right, forget it then. I've already done it. It's in the episode. Sorry, mate. You can check back. You should be able to find it quite easily. Tell USDT. I just got the wrong thing. I think I went to the wrong thing. Telcoin USDT, looking for continuation overall if we can get it from the broad perspective. In the meantime, I wouldn't be surprised to see us going back down as far as 2 cents, 2.22 sort of thing. Then on up the way, the next target up the way for me here was 20 cents. Did I say this? When I did the episode earlier, I might have said 2 cents. I said 20 cents. It's just, you know, the number 2 essentially is what you're looking at that point. I've heard of the Elliott wave in relation to AMC and GME a lot the last few days. What do you think of that, and can you maybe explain what it basically means for a dummy? Okay, Julian, no problem. I'd be happy to. Hi friends, back in the day there was a guy called Elliott. He came up with a number of little theories. Okay. Number of theories, right? So Elliott, back in the day, was one of the forefathers of modern technical analysis as we know it now. In fact, he was part of that whole classical technical analysis charting period there. The one that Pierre Brandt, I suppose, is the godfather of these days. He's pretty much the only human being left alive that actually still uses the phrase classical charting. Because he's old, right? And I love the guy. And he, Elliot, went on to become known by some people, crazy as it is, he went on to become known as having had as big an impact on technical analysis theory as Dow with his Dow theory, right? Now that's quite big praise, okay? Because he, well, you know, there's a lot of other good stuff around that same time. We had Dow himself, for instance. We had Wyckoff. We have so many people from back then that had their own ideas. Anyway, Elliot, this guy, when was it he published it, in like 1948 or something for the first time? Anyway, what he basically proposed was that markets tend to operate in a number of cycles. Okay, you're going to have a period of waves, he called them, and we can see this ourselves. It's not really that hard to imagine when we look at charts and we see things and we say, okay, so the prices were going around like this and then they went like that, and they kind of wave around. It goes up, we got a low, we got a high, we got a low, we got a high, we got a low, we got a high, we got a low, we got a high. Well, maybe this will happen a certain amount of times, and you can imagine how the whole sort of process started. So Elliot himself kind of was thinking to himself, oh, these charts go like this a lot of times. Maybe not curving to the left, but how could I apply a framework to this to fully understand the relationship between these highs and lows, right? So he came up with his wave theory, and he talked about how there are 88 waves along the course of an overall trend that will be broken up into many subwaves, and within each subwave there'll be subwaves, etc. And quite quickly, to be perfectly honest with you, it devolves away from being specific instructions about how to trade into sort of theoretical chit-chat about how markets move that I think every single human being with pattern recognition in their brains can see for themselves quite quickly anyway. But he came up with a number of rules about it, and the rules are the important part. Now, you'll find people out there like Eric Crown, great guy, love him loads, give him 10 out of 10 in 99% of things that he ever has to say. Absolutely, probably who I respect the most on YouTube. Okay, now what he'll say about Elliott Wave is that it's he'll say a few things. One, first off, he'll say it's for morons. Two, that he's never seen anybody professionally using Elliott Wave, and three, you can't tell when it's wrong. Okay, now that's fine. I mean, I make the same sort of mistakes on my own channel all the time, and I'm painfully aware of the mistakes that I make, even though most people, of course, won't notice them. But that's not actually true. You can tell when Elliott Wave's not working. For example, if wave 3 is actually, you know, or the wave, you know, if any of the lows are lower than the starting point of the whole thing. So, for instance, you've got a series of highs here. This is great. That works for Elliott Wave. You can tell that Elliott Wave's not working if you see something like this, where of course you've taken out this point. Another thing about it is that if, you know, this would be wave 1, this would be 3, and if 3 is not, you know, taken out wave 1, then it doesn't work. I.e., if you've got this sort of a thing on the go, well, that's not working. It's failed at this point, etc. And that builds up the way. Now, there is an element of not really truly knowing when you're wrong for 99.999% of people who use Elliott Wave. Another thing about Elliott Wave is that years after, and by the way, just let it be known that there's 20 concurrent viewers right now, and this is probably the best technical analysis show that has ever been on YouTube. So, you know, just so you know, your exclusive audience, it's wonderful to have you here. I really do appreciate every single last one of you tuning in. But it's a massively, you know, YouTube's best kept secret over here. Anyway, another thing with Elliott Wave is that he designed it all before really being introduced to the significance of Fibonacci sequence, and then Elliott Wave got expanded upon. Okay, by people who came along later. Still called Elliott Wave, of course, but Elliott himself didn't come up with a lot of the chat for Elliott Wave at that point. There are a few different things about it are that, well, say you've got prices and they're going like this, right? That's actually a bad example. Let me just go. Right. So you maybe have 1, 2, 3, 4 peaks on this one, right? Okay, so but Elliott Wave works in terms of waves where you've got a wave that'd be 1, that'd be up to number 1. And then you'd have this one, that'd be wave 2. Then you'd have this, and that'd be wave 3. Then you'd have this, that'd be wave 4. And then you'd have this, and it'd be wave 5. Okay, so like that's how the waves work with that one, and then the relationship between them. So you'll often see that there is, but if you go up to the high here, that the pullback on 2 will be a certain Fibonacci number, and then the target for wave 3 is generally at its strongest, generally speaking, will be another Fibonacci number. And it's no coincidence then to see at the end of the day that the way that these numbers work out, generally speaking, and I can't actually draw it on my pretend chart here because it just doesn't work in terms of what I've drawn on, but you often see that this area here is the 618 Fibonacci retracement zone, right? That's what you'll see down there on wave 2. So you're going to have, you're going to have 0. Oops, 0. You're going to have 1, 2. So that's 0.2 over here. 3, and so on, right? And so on. So you're going to see that so 2 is so often at the 618. By the way, when it comes to Fibonacci, you'll find that people pronounce these things differently all the time. Some people will say 61.8, for example. I really don't care. I say 618. It takes less mouth effort. You call it what you want. It's obviously in terms of this, out of the box settings on the Fibonacci tool comes in looking like that, right? Giving you a ratio number, a percentage number, whatever. So where will number 3 be at its top end? Okay, where will number 3 be at its top end most likely? And that'll be the 1.618. Okay, the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement zone. Okay, so that's where that would be. So let me just show you a couple of Fibonacci's so you can see what Fibonacci looks like, drawing in a high to a low. I don't like the color of that. I want it to be green. Where's my green style? Nice. So you'll have a technical. Need to draw this. I'm going to just pop it on a linear just so it's easier for me when I'm messing around with these Fibonacci's to show you what I mean instead of getting massive gaps on them. Okay, so you would have a move. So the Fibonacci. So you start off at 0, it goes up, and then you get to the 1. Now, you haven't drawn this in advance. It starts to come back down again. In fact, I've drawn that in the wrong way round, haven't I? Right, so you got up, and then you got down, and you got up, you got down, okay? And so you draw this in, and at this point here, maybe we've got this low and this high as well, and we're trying to establish where the prices could be going next. So maybe we're trying to see, is this wave 4 and will we get wave 5? So this is what you've already got on the charts, for example. Then you would go up to here and you would say, oh, we came down to the 618. That's a good. We came just beyond it, but it's okay. It's within tolerance overall. Then we went up the way, and we went up higher than our previous one. And how high did we get to? Well, the way you would measure that is between the high there and the low. So you go between 0.1 and 2, and you take it in Fibonacci. So you're measuring this retracement against this downward move, and you'd be looking to the 1618. I almost got missing my next target at the 1618. Okay, so this 1618, what is that 1618? Well, it means that this length of this here is moved up not only 100% to go back to its high, but also as 68% higher. So I'll just show you in terms of Fibonacci relationships between numbers. 68% of the distance between this high and this low is 68% of the difference between this high and this low, is this measuring stick here. Is that okay? That's 68%. So if I take this if I take the 100% there and add on 68%, you can see it takes us up to 168%. Okay, so you can see that there. Right. So then at this point, what happens? Well, most people are wrong when they use Elliott wave. Most people are wrong. I actually put out the most insane target for GME yesterday with regards to Elliott wave, and it's possible to do because, and I'll just show you now. Have I got my drawing still on here? Don't know where my Elliott wave stuff's disappeared to. Oh, it's on a different chart. Doesn't really matter. Oh, it does matter. It does matter. I'll bring it up. GME USDT. So the way that Elliott wave works, where's 24-hour time frame? Where are my drawings at? Oh, well, that's highly frustrating. It would appear my Elliott wave chat's disappeared. Whatever. Is that GME USDT? No, I've got the wrong chart. Sorry, sorry, brain fart there. I do that from time to time. Here's the Elliott wave chart for GME. So now the way that you would draw in so many instances is probably, this is wrong, right? First off, this is wrong, right? So I'm the first one to tell you that. So don't let it not be told. All we have here is 0 and 1 and 2. We don't really have anything on, but this is speculative, and this is what Elliott wave's used for. One of the things that Eric Crown is wrong about as well earlier on when he's talking about how it's never used in any professional setting. It actually is used in professional settings, like Credit Suisse, for example. They use Elliott wave in their analysis, and another thing, it's also very commonly used by institutions to mislead the public as well. So quite a lot of institutions would say our Elliott wave analysis on this says that the price of this will go to that, which creates buying volume, and then they sell against that. So JP Morgan used Elliott wave frequently in the past to talk about the price of silver to then sell into that market and control it, and manipulate the market that way through manipulation of information. Okay, so just be aware that it is used, and it's also used not only for making their own decisions, but for lots of other reasons too, like manipulation of the markets. And also, this isn't ideal. It's not ideal in many ways. Now, if you wanted to use Elliott wave, how would you use it? Well, you could use it in a number of different ways. At this point, let's be clear, we do want to see wave 2, this second wave from 1 to 2, have a decent retracement on the charts for us. Looking here then at our highs and our lows and trying to be more intensely realistic with regards to Elliott wave from the market cycle low back at coronavirus crash, then to the next low over here, you would get a 618 Fibonacci retracement. As you can see, that's where the bottom was at there for us. Remove that and draw in another Fibonacci here just to give you that extra confirmation about what actually happened. You can see down towards the actual low that resulted that the 1618 comes in here. So then we came up to this point here and then retraced again after that. Where did we retrace to at that point? This is the low, this is your high, then we came down to the 50%, not quite the 618 but the 50%. That was of course the wave 3 to 4, and then wave 5, often considered to be the biggest, of course debated. A lot of people say wave 3 is the biggest. It's fucking bullshit, because as you can see, you can arbitrarily choose which points you draw in from anyway, but regardless, wave 5 then took us up towards the 3.414, or you could make a debate easily and say it took us up to a 4.414. So let me just do this small term Elliott wave analysis for us on this small movements just here. I'll remove the Ichimoku cloud for us to make the charts a bit clearer. Take out the stupid Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tool, pop it in. There's point 1 up to point 2, there she blows, down to point 3, down to point 2, sorry, that's point 0 to 1 to 2, up to point 3, there she blows, down to point 4, there she blows, and then wave 5 was either going to be
you know, the 1618, the 3414, or indeed up as high as the 4414 overall. That's your Elliott wave analysis. And at this point here at point 3, you could have been looking at point 4, for instance, or at point 2. Let's imagine then at point 2, what you were doing was your Elliott wave analysis. And I'll use the replay tool to make this a little bit easier to make the points for us. Here, you'd be looking at it like this. Are you all tuning in? Are you all watching, by the way? You all watching? Because I fucking do not want to be saying all of this for a long time. Half an hour after I said I was tuning out. 45 minutes after I said that I wanted to tune out. I don't want to be doing this and for it not to be appreciated, by the way. So the likes of Julian, you asked me to do this. Please still be there in the audience. And please, you know, watch along here and let me know that you're learning. Because when people say to me, why do you not make a technical analysis course like David Rodriguez Alvarez says there, part of the reason, let's be honest, is because I didn't tune out 45 minutes ago. I've now used up all of this energy. And what am I doing? I'm educating people non-stop, trying as hard as I can. By the way, at the very start of the show, it was Bitcoin charts, my big heart was what I started with. Oh, I'm so unappreciated, by the way. Anyway, looking back here, you can see at point 2, you could have made this analysis, right? Now, it wouldn't have been necessarily so jagged in the way that it would have looked at that point. You would have wanted it to look nicer on your charts. So you would have done it like this, right? You would have wanted it to look nice because you want your Elliott wave stuff to look nice. But you would have come in with these targets over here, and it would have looked like this. You would have said, well, wave 3 could go in as high as that. Then maybe we'll see a pullback down to wave 4 in down to this level over here. And then maybe if we're lucky, we'll see the biggest target up here at wave 5. By the way, I'm not remaking this. I'll probably never do an Elliott wave course for anybody. I really can't be arsed, you know? Why do you not make a course? Because I put blood, sweat and tears into all this stuff. So I'm not, you know, I'm not motivated. Why would I be? 20 concurrent viewers. Why would I be motivated to make a course? Honestly, why would I? Anyway, there you have it. So the prices then at this point at 2, this is what you would have looked at, right? So where's my replay tool here? So I can see this clicking along nicely. So I just hit forward, right? So you can see, so this is how this would have gone. Now you'd have obviously, you know, our positioning of these things isn't necessarily going to be right in terms of the timing of it. We're just talking about the price points for us here. So then we came up to wave 3 and we went down to wave, you know, we went up a bit higher. Oh, did I have wave 3 drawn in the wrong place there? No, I didn't. Sorry. Whoops, stop. No, I didn't. This is just that I moved wave 4 over. So you can see this would be our target. And then we've had the low in here. And we can see that we achieved that, right? We achieved that. Then we moved up the way. So at this point here, you'd be saying, well, of course, in fact, just, yeah. In fact, I'll just do that again. So you can see here, right? So a couple of things. The positions of these highs and lows in terms of timing, in terms of where we put this in horizontally, you know, left and right, that's up for debate and I don't really care. But in terms of the vertical arrangement of them, we've gone for clear Fibonacci levels, okay? Fibonacci levels, the guy that invented this, Elliott, didn't use them himself and wasn't really sure how it would work. And what we've done here is combined Fibonacci analysis with Elliott wave, and that's how we come up with these targets, right? So you've got 1, and then 2, and then you've got 3 up here, and I've marked it in using that horizontal. Then you've got 4 in here, and I've marked it in using that horizontal. Then you've got target 5 in here, I've marked it in using that horizontal. And I'll just lay these things out for us as well with regards to the highs and lows. So you've got the 618 in here, you've got the 1618 in here. What did we say this was? I'd actually aimed, look, let's be honest, and aim down to the 618 and just be aware that that it doesn't actually hit there. It hits the 50% area. Okay, so we could have had a 50% aim. Let's just actually put in a box at this point, because it's always going to be between the two. I'll just put in a box at this point to kind of display it. So you've got a box in here, right? And then sort of 5618. Okay.
And then, by the way, tell you what's more valuable in a course, which you read on your own, is an interactive session. Honestly, every single one of these episodes, bearing in mind that I just lost 20% of the people watching after I said that I was, you know, I did that on purpose, by the way. I knew that there's 20 people watching that if as soon as I said to them that I deserve to have more people watching, they'd fuck off, which is good because I don't want them getting the lessons. I can see my stats in the background if anybody's interested. But yeah, just so you know, this is free and it's worth more than a course is. By more, like, go out on Udemy today and buy an Elliott Wave course and watch it and come back and think, fuck, I spent all that money and I've got all these questions, and I was watching Rocky earlier on and I could have asked him live, but I didn't, and it's interactive. It's clearly worth more than a course. Like, you know, so by the way, just so people know, whenever the subscriber numbers do go up, which they will eventually, and whenever hundreds of people are joining in here, I'm going to change it to members only in the live chat, and I'll probably do that if the numbers don't go up. I'll probably just end up doing that in about. Thank you so much. I'll probably just end up doing that
Love
in
you,
about.
man. 3.427281XDC.
Who did that? I need to know because I didn't see it come up at the time. Yeah, this is, I don't even know what I was saying there. It's more valuable in a course, whatever, something like that. I can't remember, distracted by this here. Drew's Tech, I knew it would be. Drew's Tech, man, Drew's Tech, you're so nice. Like, you're such a good guy. Let Drew's Tech be an example to all of the rest of you out there, by the way. Drew's Tech, really nice guy. Paying in piecemeal for his education over here, if you want to call it like that, but I don't. Instead, it's actually just a nice guy. He's just a nice guy sending value back the way I put out value. He puts value back. That's all it is. I really appreciate it. Then the next target up here towards the top side was again, right? Somewhere, so we said, okay, so look, this is an extremely bullish market, right? So I'm going to aim towards the 4.414 Fibonacci, right? This is extremely bullish. Now, do we ever get 4.414 retracements? Yeah, all the fucking time, man. What did we see on so many other things? Like, just like it happens all the time. But this is going to be an extremely bullish move that'll hopefully come after the point at which people have been broken down by not having actually achieved retracements. Now, the fact of the matter is, as well, when you look at it's just theory, if you don't go past the 618, it's a natural retracement against the trend. So Fibonacci theory is a retracement against the trend. Let me just write this out again here so people can see. Fib theory is retracements against the trend. Retracements against the trend. Retracements against the trend. The trend being towards the top side, the retracements being against them, you know, and then reversion back towards the trend. When you come in here and hit the 618, it means that you've satisfied your retracement against the trend, the retracement against the trend, in this case towards the downside, with the trend being towards the top side, okay? Fibonacci, so when you've done that, you've done it, and then you're going to go on the way, perhaps towards higher targets, you know? Then you're going to have maybe another retracement against the trend, okay? So this is what this is all about. This is what people who do these things, they don't fucking understand. You know, like the people like Eric Crown's friend, for instance, Fibbo Swanee, who's got Fibbo in his name, yet doesn't seem to understand these sorts of things, etc. Tony Vase, you know, great respect for him too, doesn't seem to understand these simple things, these simple fucking concepts, right? That anyway, and it's in the fucking name, right? It's in the name of the tool, etc. Anyway, they don't understand. So then what you're looking to is that you could maybe get that after so many times people have been so beaten down and they're so sad, you know, they're like, oh my god, we're in a downward trend, right? We're in a downward trend, and I want us to come up a wee bit and then continue against it, because they're looking at it against the trend and saying the macro trend's down, and then they get all sad because we never take out these targets here, we never take out the lower side targets, right? And then at this point here, they're sad as they've ever been. They've got five unhappy mouths, right? 5 unhappy mouths, and they say fuck it, and they release their position, and not only that, they flip and go long themselves, and they say let's go on up, baby. And that's what you want to have happen towards your fifth wave, if you're going to be talking about it in these terms, right? By the way, I don't actually use an Elliott wave analysis all the time. It's not needed for me it's not needed, right? It's not needed, and the majority of people doing this sort of thing are doing it just just because they don't know what they're talking about, right? They're doing it because they don't know what they're talking about, and this helps paper over the gaps. You'll not see somebody do Elliott wave analysis where they talk about it like this. And by the way, again, if somebody out there wants to come along and say, Rocky, I watched what you said there, I actually know what I'm talking about too, and you got this part and this part wrong, by all means, email me, whatever, let me know. And by the way, I also audit my own TA all the time. So this is where we are. So then that would be the 618. This would be the 50 to 60 618% move, and then hopefully going for a big movement up the way on that 414. And as you can see, then in terms of how that worked out here, this is what ultimately happened. Now at this point here, right, so I'll just let it. I'll just actually just stop now. Just stop now. So at this point just here where we had the pullback, we didn't quite get down as far as the 618, okay, but then we did continue on up the way, and you could have been looking towards that target. Now that's how this might have worked. This is the 24-hour time frame, by the way, so this is no poxy small thing, and this was analysis that would have taken you from March up until where's that, January 2021. So that was 11 months or 10 months of or something like that, depending on what the exact cutoff. 10 to 9 months of price action explained. Okay, so that's the green one. Now what have we got here? And I've got a blue one on, and you'll recognize this from before. You've got a low down here. It's the same low. The first starting point is the same on both of them. Comes up to a number 1 point like we had here. Let me just zoom on in and put this into context for you. The prices down here were at 357. They went as high as 654. The prices went up 100%. It was a fairly big deal. It's a big deal when that sort of thing happens. Okay, then they dropped back down a wee bit. Anyway, overall here we've had a much bigger move all the way up towards that high, and then we drop back down a bit overall, coming in for our target number 2. Okay, so we got our target number 2, and this was a 618 Fibonacci retracement point. Let me just prove that to you over here. Now I've deliberately done this to put out a deliberately strong my Fibonacci's were not using log scale. Just need to go back on. So my Fibonacci's are using log scale here. Frustrating. Right, so just let me, so there we have it. Now it works properly. Now you can see we had a 618 golden pocket in there. Let me just line this up a bit better so you can see that we came in for that towards the golden pocket retrace area. Now we didn't want to be taking it out. Okay, we didn't want to be taking it out, and we didn't want to go down as far as the 50% area. We wanted to see at least 50%, and we didn't want to take out the 618. So we did it. We did step 1 well enough. Where does step 2 take you? Did step 1? Yeah, then we did step 2 well enough. Now, where does step 3 take you as high as? And step 3, which is the equivalent of step 3 in here, which was at 921. So we went from 257 up 100% to 649, down to 350, up then 200% or whatever to $9 and all that sort of stuff. Now here we're doing the same sort of thing, and target 3 takes you into $2,327. Then the pullback from this, and let's just assume as well it does 50%, but it could go as far as a 618. Okay, it could go down as far as a 618, and if it went down as far as a 618, then you're looking to it coming down to $160. That's right, it could have been up at $2,200 and it could drop down $160. And what would the conversation be at that point? And my idea of this is to say that the conversation here would be that we thought the short squeeze had happened. This is us thinking the short squeeze is happening in here. Turns out actually we were wrong, and this is the great old big short squeeze that everybody on Reddit was talking about. And then the prices would drop down 160. The conversation would then be, we've lost 90% of the value of the company. This is clearly over. It's all over. People would say we're going to zero, just like how Eric Crown said that this is going to zero yesterday in his live stream, for example. They say we're going to zero again, talking about it negatively. What's that feel like? It's the same conversation people had here. It's the same conversation people had here. And now conversation that people are having here is they're saying that this is not worth $160. Okay, it's not worth $160, and that would be what they'd be saying there, is that it's come back down to $150, $160. they'd be saying it's gone to zero, you know, etc. That's what they'd be saying. Now, if the prices did turn around at that point, what are you going to see? Well, you're going to see that face that I spoke about, you know, the sad face that not only had one sad mouth, but had 5 sad mouths on top of it. 5 sad mouths. But at this point here, it's not just 5, it's going to be like 555 sad mouths on top of it. Then where does the next target take you into? And we spoke about this before in the run up there. You could be looking between a number of different Fibonacci targets. So let me just take away a lot of these luminous green drawings on here and show you then where your 3 targets could take you to. Okay, let me just show you this, and then I am going, by the way. And I'm not making clips today. I don't think that the audience, no offense to everybody out there, I really don't think that the audience who's not tuning into the live episodes deserves me to make clips today. So I don't think I'll bother, even though, as you know, there's been price targets and conversation we've had out there that could absolutely be made into clips. I don't think I'll bother. I've got a couple of educational ones that I've made in the past that I'll maybe just publish today instead. Why do they not deserve it? Well, they don't have to tune in, etc. It's just that I get a 2% view to like watch ratio. They're not satisfied. People aren't putting in. They aren't even people. What they do is they come along, they watch the episode, they don't even bother hitting the like button, so they don't deserve it. So they're not getting it, right? And that's just that. Sorry, it's just, you know, like parents, right? They love their kids, and when they send them out to the naughty step, doesn't mean they suddenly stop loving their kids, right? So I love my audience. I love with all my heart. Can't love them anymore. Do they deserve me to put out clips today? No, they don't. That's just that. They don't, right? So they don't. Okay. So anyway, what we did to establish the targets for point 4 was we drew in a Fibonacci retracement. Now, so we just to know that fuck's sake. Just so you know, it came down to the 618 between the 2 and 3 point. There you have the 618, of course, over there. That's where that got fulfilled at. And it could go to the 50, it could go to 618. I just went and said 618, okay, as the target for it. Of course, it could go to. We need to establish this along the way as we go. But let's make that assumption and assume. Just assume. So this is the 1618 up here, like we had from before. Let me just borrow these numbers so I can show you it with full examples. This here being the 618, this here being the 1618, okay? This, of course, could be 50 to 618, could be that, of course, which is what we had right there. So let me just show you. Now we could be looking up for higher targets. Now, let's just pop that up there for now. We'll come back to that in a second, okay? We'll come back to that in a second, the 4.414, but I'll just show you here that there's a few different targets. Let's start off with the 1618. What is the price of GME shares if they go up to the 1618? And that is, and I'll just write it in nice and big so you can see it, 11,751, and I'll put a dollar symbol and everything at the front of it. Okay, so that would be the 1618 Fibonacci target if wave 5 were to do that. But wave 5 would therefore be the same size as wave 3. Let's assume that we get the 555 unhappy faces and that we go beyond the 1618 and we achieve one of the higher targets. Now there's a few higher targets for us. Let's start off with the 2.24. Where is the 2.24? We're aiming up to go up towards the 4.414. Bear in mind that's just the 3.414 there. You know, we're going beyond that even, right? So let's just do this step by step. If the wave 5 were to come in with a 2.24 thing, and by the way, if you're out there and you're an expert TA person like Eric Crown or any of these other guys out there and you watch this episode, I actually genuinely don't want you to be bothered going out there and talking about how this is ridiculous on your live stream and being negative about what I'm doing here or disparaging towards the people who are trading this thing. I'd really appreciate if you didn't do that, because I've already put in all of the caveats about this. I already described this as being all of the things you would need to say about how this is extremely speculative. I've already said it all. I don't want to have that debate with anybody, so don't come to me with any of your shit, please. Thanks very much. Massive respect. Love you very much. Just don't bother. 61,186 is the would be your next target. Okay. Now you might be wondering to yourself, Rocky, why are you talking about that? Saying don't be giving me any of your crap. Well, it's because of the next two things I'm about to say. Okay. So the next two things I'm about to say. Now we know this. Anybody who watched Trade Spotting knows that he's got a target of $69,420 for this one. Is it crazy to think that something could move between $2,000 or $3,000 and $60,000 in the space of less than a year? Is it crazy? Is it crazy? Is it crazy? Bitcoin price March 20th 2020 was $3,500, my friends. What's the prices at the minute? $60,000, my friends. I want to point out the fact that we've seen this happen, my friends. I want to point out the fact that we're getting tokenized securities coming up and being traded on crypto exchanges, my friends. I want to point out the fact that we have got, of course, extreme price action happening in things like Tesla, my friends. So is it possible for things to do this even in the traditional world? Yes, it's possible. However, we're going to talk about stuff right now which is going to get me a lot of people saying it's impossible. But if you want to hear it, then you heard it here first. Okay, so if we did go up towards the 3.414, let me just bear in mind that, remind folk that we did this example with the wave 5 here. It could have gone up to the 1618, it could have gone up to the 2, it could have gone up to the 3, but we went all the way up towards the 4 and actually even beyond. Now, in fact, let me show you here. If you go between wave 3 and 4 like this, the 414 was up here at $82 and the prices went as high as $539. Okay, so that's what happened with the 414. If you had taken that for wave 5, it would have taken it up to $89. Okay, where we saw the prices coming back down to, etc. thereafter. So let's just do this. Let's do this. I'm sure you're excited to see what the numbers are on this one. Well, the eagle-eyed amongst you might have already spotted this one. I'll just draw it in here. So you got your dollar sign, and then you've got the number. Let's just do it here. It goes 377, comma 600. Okay, that's your next target on it. That's the 3.414. Now, if things were to go extremely crazy, now we're talking here about Lehman Brothers going bust style. We're talking about billions upon trillions of dollars having to move within the economy to satisfy the machinations and the outcomes from nefarious actors who don't really care about economies or economics. The ones out there that are on the congressional meeting hearings for GME, for instance, almost every single one of them is a bad actor. Almost every single one of them. They're very selfish people, okay? They're extremely selfish people, and they're not as smart as they think they are. That's the truth about these people. Extremely selfish, not as smart as they think they are. And that actually includes the likes of Gensler, former MIT professor, who everybody in the world will call an expert on blockchain, but he's not an expert on blockchain. I mean, really, every single person in my audience right now knows as much as Gensler does about blockchain, okay? It's just a guy that's got YouTube videos. That's all he is. It's all it is, right? It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Anyway, if all those people end up, having to eat a massive amount of humble pie, what could the prices go up to? Okay, and this is insane. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane, right? It is insane. I want everybody to know this is insane. I'm just going to keep saying it's insane as I type this. It's insane. It is insane. This is insane, by the way. This is insane. This is insane. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Right? There you go. There you have it. 19,549,731. That's where the 5 point could take you if it were to do what happened before. Now, this is all just trying to calculate something out, bearing in mind that, of course, we did push up the way beyond that for that $400 price. We're talking $80. So the equivalent in terms of this little wave thing, $89, $90, that's $19 million. Looking up the way towards that, that's, of course, hundreds of millions of dollars at that point. There's no point in even talking about it. It was hard enough typing in the 19 million, Now, is any of that worthwhile at all, So the critics then, again, just to come back to Eric Crown and all the rest of it, critics of Elliott Wave would tell you that this analysis here isn't really worth anything. And I would agree, right? I would agree, because if I'm going to tell you at the one point that this could go up towards $2,500 and then come back down to not necessarily where we are now, but anywhere in this region, say it could come back down to $288 after having been at $2,500, that's losing 90% of its value. If it comes down to anywhere in this region at all,
then this analysis hasn't been helpful to you. You know, really. I mean, unless you sold it there and bought it here. If you're buying it at these prices to sell it at 19 million, then it doesn't matter about all these in between points, and you're not thinking along those lines. If you are thinking along these lines and ignoring it, willfully ignoring 90% of your account value being lost, that's a big problem, and you should probably reconsider it. You know, so you know you would be taking profits in at $2,000. So I can reconcile a move towards 19 million and selling that thing that's 19 million at $2,000. I can do that, no problem. But then as well, at the same time, you get people saying, well, what's the point in it? This is purely speculative based off of nothing that's actually happened. And I would agree. And I would say to anybody that does any Elliott wave analysis and they have it projected into the future like this, that it's ludicrous. Okay, this is ludicrous and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I would probably suggest it's more educational, entertaining, and exciting than anybody else on YouTube doing this analysis, and moreover, it's probably also more accurate, right? And by probably I mean 99.999999999% sure of it. Okay, right. Okay, so that would be that. Now, is this realistic? Let me just one last time say that's insane, but I've built up a big picture here and I was showing people how it would work. Now, do you want me to do, if anybody, I think in terms of education, we've covered all of your bases here for just getting started using Elliott Wave if you wanted to. Now, at this point, if you wanted to go back to a traditional world, not a traditional world, another chart, and take a look at it and try and establish Elliott Wave type stuff on there. You know, is it possible to do it? Is it possible to do it? Like, what if we take from this low up here? Can we use Elliott Wave in this section over here? It's a bit of a struggle, isn't it? It's a bit of a struggle. You know, take it from that low up to where a high would be. And have we had any satisfactory pullbacks along the way? Not very wavy, is it? Going up. This is 24-hour time frame, and this is a move between $3,000 and $60,000. So how would Elliott Wave have helped you in this period between $3,600 and $64,500? How would Elliott Wave have helped you during that phase there? Not very clear, is it? But then you go back looking for like charts where you've got a bit more of that whole uppy downiness on it, so you can kind of do that on there. V-shaped recoveries do that to people. So you know you can start off from somewhere else. Absolutely, start off from somewhere else, no problem. But it's the parabolic markets don't lend themselves to Elliott Wave, and that would be the section. This would be the section here that you would have with that GME move. You know, it just wouldn't really. It would just look parabolic, and there'd be nothing that you could do to do TA and around those sections that would help the likes of, sorry to say it yourself out there, you know, chances are. Now, of course, if you don't include yourself, if that doesn't apply to you, that's fine. You know, I didn't, you know, then that doesn't include you. That's fine. So could there have been ways that you could have done this in the past? What was that? We've just had another one.
I'm late to the stream, but can't wait to watch this back.
Oh, thanks, Griffin. Yeah, you'll enjoy it, I'm sure. There's bits of it you won't enjoy. There's bits of it you will enjoy. The Elliott Wave stuff. AMC, Elliott Wave. I've talked about AMC and GME in today's show. Over here to this high, you can see we did get the 618 Fibonacci retracement in the end. It came in just there, drawing in the Elliott Wave, going from 0.1 to 0.2 to 0.3, then on up the way. Where's 0.4 at? Where could it be? 0.3, maybe it's there. Like, let's measure this back afterwards. So we'll just audit what we're saying. Let's measure it there, and then 0.5. We'll just stick 0.5 up there for now, because, you know, this is historical stuff. So Elliott Wave stuff. In the past, Bitcoin prices hit a low in this point here in January 2015. Bearing in mind the price of Bitcoin back here was $149 per coin. Okay, the price of $149. Where did it go to? $309. Where did it go down to? To 196. This was the 618 Fibonacci retracement from those 2 points. Then it went up the way. Let's establish what Fibonacci retracement number it came in at.
There's the 1618 came in at the 2.24. Okay, so that's wave 3 came in at the 2.24. You would have been aiming up here towards the 1618. You might have thought to yourself that you would have had a retrace from the 1618 of about a 618, you know. So if that had been what you've been thinking, you'd have been going up measuring it like this and looking for a 618 to come in around about here. Didn't happen. Or the 50% around about here did happen. So you know, you're looking between the 50 and the 618. Bear in mind as well, logarithmic chart, big movements between these two, big enough movements between those two areas. So then, yeah, so you got your 50% retrace in here, near enough, and then we continued on up the way. Where do we want to take the next? Where do we want to take the fifth wave into? Where do you want to take the fifth wave into? Ba-dum bum, ba-dum bum, ba-da-bum bum, ba-da-dum bum. So from the high on the 3 down to the low on the 4, and saying the 1618, well, it was in here. Ultimately, we did come in there. Right? Ultimately, we did. We would have gone down the way. This is again another of that useless impact of the useless effect of Elliott wave, right? You could say, because all of these targets were satisfied. The 4.414, sure, we did come in at that price point later on. The 3.414, sure we did. The 2.4, sure we did. Sure we did, couple of times, etc. The 1618, sure we did. So, so can we get any of those targets? Yes, we can. Absolute mont, my friend. That means $2,000 as the wave 3 target, totally realistic. $12,000 as the wave 5 target, totally realistic. Craziness kicking in, and the price is going up towards 61,000, totally realistic. It's like super realistic, and possible. Now, TA would tell you that you've had a blow off top on GME and AMC, and that they're going to, you know, fail to recover up the way. I would hesitate to say that because we never had a trend and move up the way, which came in with divergence or anything like that. We had enthusiasm, which came in, which saw mass manipulation of the markets, you know, in a way that was actually publicly discussed, unlike how it's all done behind closed doors in crypto land, and various other things that make me actually discount that. Discount the blow off top part in a way that I actually wouldn't with regards to crypto. In fact, you'll see here that in terms of all these movements that we've had of crypto, that we had nothing that looked as stupid necessarily as the GME thing necessarily, apart from the occasional instance, like back when Bitcoin price went from $3 to $15. That was a big stupidity looking thing. And then back, remember how awful it was when Bitcoin went from $18 down to $6.65. This is an asset that I'm realistically looking at a target of $75,000 on at the minute, by the way. Yeah, check in with the chat. Probably going to leave fairly soon, by the way. Okie dokie. So let me just check. You have to go like a bunch of videos. Thanks so much, Winky Winky. If that was you, you've taught me a ton. Thanks, Rocky. No problem. Horn Hunter, Julian A. Your and Jamie's channels are the best. All the information is so high frequency is gold. And so high frequency is gold. Wow, lots of information and good quality at once. Wow, quantity and quality, not sacrificing one for the other. Rocky needs to get his Reddit up so we can share stuff where his audience is seeing videos by... Seemed more like they're hoping for a bullish market and try to prove it. Man, 99% of people using Elliott wave are morons. Just 99, like... Almost every single person that does technical analysis on YouTube is not worth watching at all. You've got the likes of TradeSpot out there. He's good. You've got the likes of Eric Crown. He's good. You've got the likes of Mitch Ray. He's good. Guy's an asshole in sort of that redneck way. I quite like him. I'd like to get drunk with him, shoot some guns, smoke a cigar, and all that sort of stuff. I'd have a great time. We'd probably get on really well. Doesn't mean that he's not like a bit of an asshole, because he is. Probably, maybe even in the same way that I'm an asshole. I don't know. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all I actually endorse. It's all I recommend, right? It's all I recommend. Yes, I know there's people out there that are nice people. That Martini guy, great guy. Don't really recommend his TA. Got to be honest with you. It's mostly it's quite awful. Crypto Newton, Australian guy, quite nice guy, good guy. Half okay TA. His TA is best when he's watched me beforehand. His TA is worse when he relies on himself. It's pretty basic. Crypto Jeb, like an absolutely laughable guy, laughable like in terms of how honest to God bad it is, and that he's a lot better than he was when he started though. Give the guy 3 or 4 years and he's probably bound to improve, right? You got Four Flies, probably the biggest arsehole on YouTube I've ever seen, and not worth watching at all for a split second. Tone Vase is actually worth watching quite from time to time. He actually keeps things quite basic. He's actually not that bad. He's not that bad. I know in terms of a lot of people having a bad rep or whatever, he's got one. I think he's got a bad rep. He's actually not bad, you know. But I don't endorse him. I don't recommend him. The guy, the guy, he's far too much of an ideologue. He's far too much of an ideologue. He's got severe personality issues. He doesn't speak English very well. I mean, for instance, he thinks that that you know, he's got a website, www.unconfiscatable.com. Yeah, when I saw that he had that, I went out and bought nonconfiscatable.com. I was like thinking to myself, I own that. If anybody wants to know who owns nonconfiscatable.com, that's me that owns that. Why did I do that? Well, it's just a bit of a laugh for myself, like a little URL souvenir. Tony Vase doesn't know that unconfiscatable is not a word, and that the word is non-confiscatable. He just doesn't know that. But who you know, can't blame the guy. He's fucking Russian, right? He's Russian. Or Belarusian or something like that, you know. He's something. He's not American, you know. He's an expat. English is not his first language, I think, as far as I know, right? So how could you blame him for any of that? Anyway, yeah, they're not worth watching. So I've not seen. I genuinely, anybody that's worth watching, let me know. There's people out there who are really nice guys who do decent enough TA, like Magic Internet Money. I really like that guy. Go check out his channel, Magic Internet Money. Nice guy, really like him. It's worth watching his TA for ideas and whatever else. But I can't endorse any of these people. They're just people who've learned how to do TA by looking at YouTube, you know, and they don't spend like, I don't know, like me, three hours a day probably on average researching stuff. They don't spend like, I don't know, 20 hours, 30 hours a week doing live streams to audiences. They don't audit their own TA probably. They don't invite people to do that. You know, they don't do the sort of things that I do. And you know what? I'm thinking of changing, right? Because this isn't worth it to me. Quite frankly, this is not worth it to me. I really appreciate the likes of Drew's Tech. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the likes of Drew's Tech, who contributed to the channel. Really appreciate the likes of Griffin, you know, who contributed as well just there now. I really appreciate it. Danny, for instance, really appreciate it. Who wanted to take a look at Telcoin earlier on, for example. Randy K, really appreciate it, etc. But my chat revenue through super chats today is £8.40. £8.40, and Drew's Tech sent me. What did Drew's Tech send me? $25, like really generous of the guy. £8.40, $25, that's about 17 quid, so it adds up to about 26 quid. So that's me being at this for 2.5 hours. So I'm getting paid around about £10 an hour for this live stream, for putting out information which is worth more than £10 an hour. It's just not worth it. This isn't worth it to me. I could be doing I could literally go and work at the hotel across the road making cups of coffee for people and have a better time. I'd enjoy myself more and make more money. Now I wouldn't do it because I'm trying to do something here, but I can't do it. I can't keep doing this forever with the way that it is right now. I'm going to keep going for another 2 years, right? Going to keep going for another 2 years. So you don't need to panic. Or another year and a half. I'm going to keep going for another year and a half minimum, probably. But you don't need to panic. But it's totally not sustainable. So I'm going to have to change. And I'm thinking about how I'm going to change. I'm thinking that maybe what I'll start doing is just not caring about anybody at all, because common denominators.
Thank you, by the way, Swisher. Really do appreciate it. That was $5.
Let's go into business together, Rocky. For real, hit me up.
Get business together. All right, okay, Swisher, man. See, now you see, right? For real, hit me up. There's real people out there. I really do genuinely appreciate everyone. That's so quality. Right, cool. I'm going now. Yeah, going now. Thanks very much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. I've had a